This would be the Jeff Cameron Show right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio, and a fine Redemption Thursday to you and yours. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. Hey, if you do, all 3 hours are going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's a good thing. Email the show if you like, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at J Cameron Show. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Doesn't matter if that's a Android or iPhone. Doesn't matter. You're good. Get an email, as I said, jcs at 979ESPNradio.com. And remember, we're on YouTube. Back doing that today. Good to have you on board. YouTubers, you can watch us perform the program. If you like, go to YouTube, type in ESPN Tallahassee, and you're all set. Redemption Thursday wagers right out the box. Again, it's hard to type these out and not be able to type out Florida State. Time and again. I know. Get over it. Stop talking about it. You're only adding to our misery, Cameron. Again, with this constant lament about no Florida State football. It's bizarre, and it feels like it's really dragging. And it's petty of me to bring this up after people are trying to ready themselves to get their homes back in order, and any other of the any number of emergencies that people have had to deal with after a hurricane. I got you, but damn it, man, the rest of the world's playing college football, and I just want to join the party.
We've got 8 more shows, including Tallahassee Game Day. 8 more shows, including Tallahassee Game Day on Saturday morning, September the 23rd, before we can break down a new Florida State game, not the Alabama game. And James Blackman, the quarterback, the real one, the one that takes the field and plays in real games and racks up real stats that we can talk about and see.
Hey, well, Jimbo said some things that we'll talk about here in a minute.
In the call-in show that maybe if you read between the lines, you can get speculative, and it's not unreasonable to do so. I actually think I've got a thought on what this season could be for Coach Fisher and what it would be interesting and what's possibly at play. If you are of the mindset that, hey, this team's not winning a national title, that's a fair thing to say. I agree. But if you're of the mindset there's an outside chance that they could win the conference, I agree with that. I think they could. I think that's in play. And then whatever that means for the playoff, okay, well, we'll have to see how the season plays out, who's what, and what other teams are in the mix for that thing. But right now, I think most of us have shifted the mindset over to, A, I just want to see the damn team play football again so I can know what I have in this kid at quarterback. And B, I think you are probably just, make a run at it. Make a run at winning the conference. Shock some people. Kind of oddly playing the underdog role for a season in which Florida State came in ranked top 5. You didn't think that after one game and much upheaval that you'd be talking about this team having to play the role of spoiler in the conference or underdog. And I don't think it's disrespectful to them to say that. I just think that's what happens when you lose a veteran quarterback and have to start a true freshman. I think I would say that about almost anybody. It's not that it's impossible. It's not that you can't achieve something of merit, something of note, something that would make us all excited and proud moving forward. But yes, your enthusiasm for what's possible dampens, and that's just the way of the world when you lose a starting quarterback, period. It's even more true when you lose that starting quarterback and you have to start a kid that's never played college football. So that makes sense. But I'm holding out hope that the possibility of winning the division, playing for an ACC championship, remains intact because of what I think is going to be a dominant defense week in, week out.
Yeah, and you don't have to say think, right? Because we played the best. That's the one thing of the game we played, of the game singular that we played. It was against Alabama. It wasn't ULM,
right? And
then a storm hit. So we really, really don't know what we have. We've seen what the defense looks like in the trenches against the best in the country. We've seen what our offensive line looks like in the trenches against the best in the country.
Most promising aspect, I think.
Right, and you've seen that the receivers can win their fair share of battles against an elite secondary, or at least elite athletes in a secondary.
Sure.
If Alabama has been a little underwhelming in that department the last couple of years. You've seen that Cam Akers is a true freshman against the best in the country, looks the part. He belongs on the same field. Even though he's a true freshman, he belongs there. So a lot of the surrounding pieces, if we don't talk about special teams, look to be the part.
Well,
and that's the fun thing.
They got plenty of time to remedy that situation.
They better.
Of course, you could say they've had years, but you could argue that all of this extra time certainly puts them in a position prepare themselves and improve themselves dramatically in an area of glaring weakness for a sustained period of time in special teams. That's really inarguable. The numbers say that. Your eyes tell you that. Watching the games helps. Yeah, that's not something where you can say, well, you're being nitpicky or you're projecting your frustrations in certain aspects of the game onto the coaching staff unfairly. No. The numbers are the numbers. You watch the games. You've seen what I've seen. It's inarguable. The special teams has sucked for some time. They have had now and will have had several weeks by the time they go out there to face NC State in a nooner to have remedied some of that situation.
I think the good news is, too, with this matchup being what it is on Saturday night at 8 p.m. between Clemson and Louisville, you have a really good chance to see what we need to be by the time we play Louisville on October 21st, what we need to be by the time we play Clemson in November. We get a chance to see that as it compares to the Alabama team that we played before. Again, it's not that you're going completely blind into the NC State game. You're just going blind, with the most important position on the field, taking snaps under center.
So let's do that. Let's get to
our wagers for charity, if you will. And again, honor system here, everybody. Keep a running tab. Probably many of you are chomping at the bit to get started with this. You've had your way with me through the first 2 weeks. I've been middling to poor on Redemption Thursday. I've been good in my personal life.
That's what I was about to say. You trade this, though.
I do trade this,
slap to the face in exchange for dominating in the personal life.
But I'm competitive and I don't like it. But here's the thing. When you, again, I say this all the time. And I guess maybe it's an informative thing for our listeners because I do want people to pay attention to this. If you're a sporting guy or gal in real life, and you know what I'm talking about, if you like to put a little extra juice on Saturday and Sunday's action, understand that when I put up these 10 games every week for the purposes of the show and for charity, that in my real life, if I don't like 10 games, I'm not going to be a sporting guy on 10 games. In my real life, off the air, where potato chips may or may not be on the line, I might like 3 games in a weekend. 5 games. That's a busy weekend. 2 games a game, not 10. So don't mistake that we do 10 every week on Redemption Thursday with, well, Jeff's out here just picking 10 to 15 games every weekend in the real world. No, I'm not.
Yeah, maybe I could drop $20 off for him. Maybe he's the guy who needs the charity. Here, Jeff, here's some canned goods for you.
I'm not doing that. I'm taking of these 10, I'll often look at about 2 to 3 that I truly like to put a little extra something on the line. But we do 10. It's the right thing to do. It's a fun thing to do. And let's get it on. I'll do so right off the bat with the game that Tom just mentioned. And it is a hell of a game and very intriguing. And Tom and I think, are on different sides here. Now, we go back to a year ago. I thought Clemson would beat Louisville. You did too. We both talked about it a lot. And we thought Clemson's defense, for one, had the requisite skill, speed, size, depth, talent to contain the dynamic play of Lamar Jackson and do enough on defense to keep him in the pocket and eventually win the game. And by and large, for a good portion of the football game, they did that. They suffered a crucial turnover going in to blow Louisville out. And to Lamar Jackson's credit, he did what he does so often. He began to make plays. That offense began to get rolling. Clemson began to tire chasing him all around the field. And the next thing you know, Louisville almost came all the way back and won that football game. Would have derailed Clemson's hopes of a national title. It was one of many games that nearly derailed Clemson's hopes of winning a national title. But horseshoes and hand grenades, right? Clemson won the game. So here's the deal. I think Louisville wins this time around as a home dog. And I think it's because Clemson's offense is a far cry from what it was a year ago. Their defense may very well be every bit as good as it was a year ago, may very well be better than it was a year ago. We'll see as more games play out. They'll truly be tested this weekend. But I don't think Clemson's offense can take advantage to the extent that they'll need to of Louisville's defense, which is suspect to say the least, enough times to win this game. Give me Louisville +3 at home against Clemson. I like them as a home dog here.
I suppose we can talk about this in detail
as
today and tomorrow goes along. but suspect in all caps at 72-point font for Louisville's defense and their secondary.
Sure.
Now, if I was going to make the argument for you, I'd say it's a Petrino special. It's week 3. North Carolina posed little to no threat.
Sure.
And even though that game was close into the second half, if you were watching the flow of the game, Louisville really had the better of the action for 85% of the possessions. It's North Carolina did a little smoke and mirrors work there.
Special teams as usual.
But when push came to shove, I did think that Louisville's secondary looked like Virginia Tech's. It just the clear, definitive weakness on the team.
Oh, sure.
Good.
Oh, they've got issues. Louisville does not have a good defense.
And that's the key matchup in this game, is what can Clemson's offense do consistently enough against Louisville's defense? Because I think we all know that Lamar's going to win some, lose some.
Right.
But then Clemson's defense is also, in turn, going to win some, lose some. So if Clemson's offense can look proficient enough and take advantage of the back end of Louisville's defense, that means give the quarterback enough time. I'm sure Louisville's going to be bringing more pressures. Then you might have a higher scoring game than you think. On its face. To me, I could see arguments for making the underplay or the overplay.
I'm not touching the game in real life. I can tell you that.
I need to look at the number, but I think the play might actually be the over in this game. I think this might be a game in the 30s.
Here's my problem with the game, just in terms of why I wouldn't touch it outside of Redemption Thursday. And I do like Louisville +3 at home. There's an emotional factor here, and we know they get up for a game like this.
A little bit.
A little bit. So
it could be a high nooner and they get up for it.
Well, I think they will be sky high. This will be something along the lines from an emotional standpoint, an energy standpoint of what they just had a year ago with us rolling in there. Remember, Louisville's the team with the chip on their shoulder. Louisville's the team that wants to prove they belong consistently amongst the elite of the ACC. And frankly, the elite of the ACC consists of 2 teams, Florida State and Clemson. Currently, unfortunately, you have to say Clemson and Florida State. Okay, so that's where we're at, right? Louisville wants to prove, A, we belong in this party. We danced all over Florida State a year ago. Now let us do this to Clemson, whom we nearly knocked off when they had Deshaun Watson in their house. So you'll see that attitude, that mindset from Louisville in this game.
I think the other thing, too, and maybe I'm convincing myself to not play this game with you, is that Clemson played a far more physical game last week than Louisville did. Louisville played a game against North Carolina that was close, and there was touchdowns back and forth, but it wasn't nearly as physical. That didn't have that signature to it that Clemson and Auburn did in the trenches. So from the standpoint of weakness, the standpoint of attrition, I think Clemson would be reeling a little bit more to go on the road after an emotional game like the one they played against Auburn versus where Louisville was on the road in Chapel Hill. I mean, there was some atmosphere, but it was more of an ACC wine and cheese crowd to come back to its own raucous atmosphere. Interesting.
Well, they've been looking at this game. This strikes me so much as what we saw a year ago with Florida State rolling in there. They're all the telltale signs, Tom.
Yeah.
They're all written on the wall here.
Lamar is also making progressions from the pocket.
Well, he's gotten a lot better, and that's a problem. That's a problem for everybody, by the way. Yeah, this is starting to feel. You're coming with me. Come on. Come on, baby. By the end of the show, you'll be with me. Come on.
Neutral, sir.
Yeah, you were coming over to the side. I think you see it. By the way, I'll also just note, and this isn't very scientific, but it is fun to talk about. And sometimes it's out there, right? It's as you call it, don't put that juju out into the world and all that. We think Clemson's due for a comeuppance here? I mean, a little bit? What are we doing? Is just Clemson just going to go on season after season now and just not lose games despite losing personnel every which way to Sunday? We're just suddenly going to sustain this level of excellence?
That was Brad Edwards' contention, wasn't it? That Clemson's gotten to a place where it just can replenish at the highest level.
Yeah. Well, there's no such thing. Every school has a year where there is a drop-off, and typically it does follow those in which you lose the franchise, or excuse me, in this case, the university's greatest quarterback in program history. It's hard to continue and can keep on keeping on. You can win games, and they do recruit at an elite level now. They recruit with the Florida States of the world. They recruit with everybody but Bama and Ohio State, as do we and a few other teams out there. That's where Clemson's at now in recruiting. I got you. So you're not going to see dramatic drop-offs, but come on now.
However, on the other hand, Louisville's played a Purdue team that we don't think very much of.
I don't think they thought about Purdue or North Carolina. I think they were thinking about this game.
I hear you. North Carolina did lose to Cal at home.
North Carolina's not any good. But remember, Louisville's numbers and the alarming numbers we saw a year ago from Lamar Jackson had us rolling our eyes. Well, they haven't played anybody yet. Wait till we play them. They'll see. Real speed on defense. Then Lamar will have to be slowed.
We should have just played him in November. We would have been fine. We would have killed them.
Apparently, everybody needs to play them later. But this isn't later. It's now. It's Ambush City, baby. This is what Louisville does.
That's a Lee Sterling term.
It's a true story. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. I'll get
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
7 days a week, visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, the mind of the human male is a peculiar thing. Every day we walk through a car wash of external stimuli, from the eyeballs to the ear holes, to exotic hot dog smells, to imported energy drinks. So does our mind wander? You bet it does. Wait, what was I saying? Oh yeah, that's why Sport Clips is Sport Clips. They make a haircut memorable, but with as little thought required from us as possible. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. So if that man in the mirror looks like an island castaway, or just has some hair that needs attention, well, you've got this solved because you know Sport Clips. And if you're already looking Sport Clips handsome, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
I give to you easy laundry service from my friends at Wash Around the Clock. Oh, buddy, this is a game changer. If you're like me, your life is hectic. Between work, school, your kids' sporting events and activities, well, it leaves you precious little time to kick back and take a load off. About the last thing you want to do is hours of laundry, but there it sits, staring at you, taunting. No more. That's right. More watching, less washing. Save hours of valuable time when you sign up not doing laundry with easy laundry service from Wash Around the Clock. Whether it's dry cleaning or just plain laundry, Wash Around the Clock's easy laundry service will pick up and deliver at your home or office. So sign up for free today at easylaundry.net, or you can give them a call, 850-597-9007. Again, sign up today at easylaundry.net. Oh, and by the way, I got you. Use promo code JCS20 and save 20%. That's promo code JCS20. You're saving 20% on your first order. That's easylaundry.net from Wash Around the Clock. Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina. And presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by FranksAutoWorld.com. Ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at FranksAutoWorld.com. You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
ESPN Radio. I think sometimes I'm the world's worst person. Somebody sent me numerous people. Well, maybe I've fostered this sort of thing. I'll get to the games in a second. Numerous people have sent me the article on the man that was cutting his neighbor's tree with a chainsaw, trying to clean up. And obviously, you're trying to do a good deed. He killed himself cutting the tree because he ended up, it came back and the chainsaw sliced his neck. And
There's a video of this?
Oh, no. I don't think there's a video.
Oh,
I hope not.
So who the hell took the video?
No, I haven't seen a video or anything like that. I don't think there's a video. But I got sent this numerous times. People sent me the article link. And in doing so, I thought, why do I get an inordinate number of these articles? And then I obviously realized, of course, over the years, but that I think we're failing to reach a place where there's a line, where the suggestion is that I don't have discretion on these stories. Like, was the hope that the listeners who sent me the link to this article of this man trying to do a good deed who then, very sadly, ended up killing himself, and yes, admittedly, in a way in which the story would amuse me given my history and the kinds of stories I bring to the table here. But the storm element, neighbors helping neighbors discussion I just had yesterday might suggest that this is probably something that I'm not going to find the humor in. The headline is a grabber. I'll get you that. I'll give you that. I can't use this. It's not the same as the Australian woman wading out into crocodiles. It's not. I can't use. There's distance, time.
Yeah, but you kind of did. You did. You brought it to the table.
Well, I brought it to the table because of the number of people that have sent me the same article being a reflection of who my listeners are, which I adore, while at the same time suggesting that we have no discretion, that I'm willing to wade into any story. And that's not what we do. I could probably find a story a day involving bizarre ways to die. But it crosses a line, so I don't go down that road. Maybe in my private life, I have that conversation with you in the office, or I'll say something to my wife like, did you see this poor bastard? Holy hell. But there are just, certain lines, got to be careful. And I just think it's interesting. I'm just really kind of gauging. It's more of a sort of in-show topic. I think it's more of a, do my listeners think I'm willing to talk about any kind of gruesome death on the air?
I think past examples may suggest yes, but you're using more discretion as you get older. I think that's the trend.
Well, I don't fear going down the road of the bizarre, and I find stories that involve things that allow me to prey upon the fun I have with thinning the herd. When people are stupid, I'm more apt to bring up a gruesome story and the ways in which they've died. Dude, somebody being a good Samaritan being killed, it doesn't typically happen. And that's true of the history of the show.
Sure.
I don't seek to go down these weird roads when the person was legitimately trying to save somebody's life.
Right.
Or do something. No, it's when somebody's a dumbass and or engages in a behavior that What'd you think was going to happen, man?
But the bizarre does have a place, too.
Oh.
See the guy who sat on the toilet and the snake came out of it.
Right. But he didn't die. He got bit in the testicles. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I find the humor in that. He's alive. He's okay. And it's bizarre. That works. But there is usually a set of criteria. I think you just defined it. Absurdism. I love absurdism. If you're a fool and it's involved in the thinning of the herd, more air for the rest of us because you're a dumbass, or you're a bad guy, I'm all in.
Bad guy, dumbass, or unlucky and bizarre. Because the meteorite is probably in the latter of the three categories.
Sure, that's completely bizarre. A 1 in a billion something chance that you're just sitting in the exact place where a meteorite could come through the house and hit you. Now, that's funny. Everybody but that person's family finds that hilarious. See? Even you.
Oh, yeah. This is great.
But that's crazy, right? You get that. I will always make fun of that. A man trying to help somebody out after the hurricane getting whacked by his own chainsaw. See, when you say it like that, there is humor there.
Sure.
But I'm not going all in on the story. Like,
Absolutely.
people send the link, they think I'm going to keep reading. I'm not going to keep reading. I see the headline, I get it. Man, that's a toughie. That's a tough. I can't go there with you. I see it. Yes, I'm aware the story is out there. Can't go there with you. It's not the same as getting into a hot air balloon, which you know is destined to hit the power lines, because all hot air balloons hit power lines. And especially when given to parents, elderly parents, as gifts from their kids. Those stories are funny. Sad for them, funny for the rest of us. And stop getting into hot air balloons. It never ends well. But this, it doesn't fit the criteria. I'm just saying it doesn't fit the criteria, man. I think longtime listeners, of which you qualify, even, there's a line. It can be, we go up against it.
Sure. There are just a couple of one-liners that I think may have appeared if this story was said in the earlier years, How's Rick doing with that tree cutting? Better check on Rick, that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. I can find humor in anything. I literally can find humor in almost anything. And I'm not one of the people that believes that there are things that are off limits. No, I think you can find humor in the most, in a shocking number of things. You can find humor. Where you think you couldn't, you can. But maybe where the discretion comes into play is how often I seek to do that on the air with certain delicate items.
I think my favorite thing, every time a tropical storm or hurricane comes through to reflect on and laugh, thinning the herd, is the kite surfer, who ended up riding his way into the hotel.
Yeah. See, now
and
that
the hotel
dumbass
guests had to be treated for trauma.
That is fantastic.
What the hell is... That's a man.
Oh, my God, that dude is going to splat into that building. Now, see, that's funny because this guy chose to kite surf during a hurricane. You got to go. Nobody feels bad for you. Nobody. That's crazy.
If Jim Cantore died, let's say he was beheaded by...
Oh, good Lord.
No, by debris, whooshing by because they're trying to sell you fear.
Right.
Do you have to feel bad for him? This was a debate I was having internally.
Okay.
I was talking with friends and family this weekend, and Jim Cantore was outside of the hotel.
Right. It's like 100-mile-per-hour winds.
And it was in Naples. He's being blown back or Fort Myers.
He's struggling, right? Do you think sometimes they fake the stagger step?
Oh, I think absolutely
they
all
do. Fake the stagger step. I saw a guy faking the stagger step, and I'm going, dude, you're fine. Stop that. Stop that.
Right. But
sensationalizing this. Don't do that.
Do I have to feel bad for him if, let's say a newspaper stand comes blowing by and it knocks his head off?
No, you don't have to.
Yeah, thank you.
No, when people choose certain professions or they choose here's one for you. By all rights, the crocodile hunter was a hell of a good guy.
This is the example I brought up when we were discussing this. Yes,
Steve Irwin was a good guy. Everything I've ever read, the people who knew him, who were close to him, that worked with him, anybody he ever met, you won't hear a single person say anything negative about Steve Irwin. Apparently, he was salt of the earth, kick-ass guy, interesting, very knowledgeable, hardworking, fought to preserve any number of climates and animals, various species that he fought. All this
ecosystems.
Yes, yeah. But man, we all knew in that line of work. Now, certainly I didn't think it'd be like a stingray that took him out, but in that line of work, you put your life at risk. It's not stunning when you lose your life. We thought a crocodile would kill the crocodile hunter at some point. And admittedly, there's even a little bit of humor in that. If you're the crocodile hunter, you could be called the snake hunter. If you get killed by a snake, it's kind of funny.
No, it's better if you get killed by a different animal. It's like, the crocodile hunter was a big thing. You know how he died? And I'll tell my kid this. A crocodile?
No.
Stingray.
Stingray, right through the heart. Crazy. No, but, so like if you're the rhino petter, and you just shoot videos of yourself petting rhinos all the time, and one of them kills you, you're like, oh, the rhino petter got taken out by a rhino. That's awesome.
Sounds like code for something in the valley. Rhino petter.
But that's great. If the rhino petter gets killed by a rhino, you're like, well, hey, the grizzly bear dude, the documentary, I told you all about it.
Yeah.
Grizzly Man, it's the best. That dude got ripped to shreds by a grizzly bear, being a dumbass hanging out with grizzly bears. Wild grizzly bears. What are you doing? Well, you have to go. When that happens, I laugh at you. I don't feel bad for him or anybody involved with him in that whole shoot. It's all good.
But what about that guy? Do you feel bad for this one? Because the video was so endearing. He's out in Africa, and he's on the Jeep. He gets out of the Jeep, and then all of a sudden the big lions run up to him because they feel like he's part of the pride. Remember that? The
but
giant
he didn't get
lion.
Killed, did he?
No.
Oh, yeah.
It was a great video, though.
Yeah,
It was great. The
because
big
he
lions,
saved them or something?
Something, and they give up, they jump up, they give him a huge hug. What if he got ripped to shreds by a lion?
Oh, man. Dumbass. I mean, they are
hard, but the
same that
lions.
was. But I mean, if he kept going out there and eventually they killed him, you'd say, "Well, what are you doing, man? You don't get a pass forever and a day. At some point, a lion's going to be a lion."
But they love him, shouldn't
They're still lions. They're still no.
But he's not a dumbass, is he?
Oh, well, maybe not a dumbass, but he's tempting fate. That's for sure. I mean, listen. I think it's hilarious every time somebody falls off a high wire. Every time. I root for it.
Is it the Walendas?
Yeah, the dude that fell in Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah, just stumbling off. You're like, well, hey, man, what are you doing here?
Yeah. I'm uncomfortable every time I laugh.
But it's true.
You're
like, well, what are you doing, man?
He's like in a mall
Between
or something.
two buildings.
Between two buildings,
yes. And off he goes.
He's in a button-down shirt.
He's like, oops. Oh, well, imagine that, dumbass. There you are. You just fell off a wire.
Sometimes I wish we weren't on video.
So, that's what I'm telling you, man. Anyhow, I'm not going to talk about the story that you guys keep sending me. That's a horrible way to go. But my man was trying to help people out. That's a toughie. That one is really unfortunate. That's not a guy actively doing so. He was trimming a tree.
Right.
People trim trees, man. I've trimmed plenty of trees. It's not a euphemism. I'm saying. Jeez. Jeff Cameron Show.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
powerful suite of tools. Tools that are easy to use and get the job done quickly. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Simple. Set up screener questions to help you find more qualified candidates. Simple. Review applicants, take notes, and schedule interviews from a user-friendly dashboard on your phone, tablet, or desktop. Simple. Indeed is hiring made simple. And simple works. An independent study proves 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. More hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing in relevant search results and helping you find qualified candidates faster. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, 'cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Hey, I'm Travis with Parker Brothers Roofing. Some roofers are like a bad boyfriend. They make lots of promises, but in reality, they're just cheap. They don't own up to their mistakes, and they leave you with a lot of regret. Parker Brothers Roofing stands behind every installation, and if a mistake is made, we own it and fix it. Our customers never have to worry about being left behind for the next job. At Parker Brothers, it's quality that builds our quantity. Call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
Hi, Chris Kraft for Kraft Nissan, introducing Nissan's Express Service. Express Service means oil changes in 45 minutes or less, with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated Express Service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. We sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299. So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by. Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the first game of Week 2 tonight, the Houston Texans are expected to start rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Watson got the first-team reps in practice this week after replacing Tom Savage in the season opener. When the Houston Cougars take the field for Saturday's home opener against Rice, they'll wear the word Houston on the backs of their jerseys instead of their names. It's a tribute to the city after the devastation from Hurricane Harvey. To baseball, the Mariners activate right-hander Felix Hernandez from the DL today. He'll start tonight against the Rangers. Hernandez has been out almost 6 weeks with bursitis in his right shoulder. It's the second time this season he's had a lengthy stay on the DL. Golf, the third event of the PGA Tour playoffs starting at Conway Farms in Illinois. Mark Leishman, the leader, 5 under.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports, in a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
has to involve the element of Darwinian selection. If not, it's off the table. Hashtag a-hole. That from my favorite Twitter account, Urban Meyer's Family. Trey writes, hey, at Jay Cameron Show, at _Tom Lang. As a paramedic, I smilingly approve of this segment. And Roll Tribe, our friend Bill, says, well, that segment went off the rails. Yeah, it kind of did. Yeah, I think the Darwinian aspect is key.
Yeah, but unlucky has to be key, too.
Yeah,
it's
you
not
can
just...
be, yeah. You can't usually be, it can't usually be in the service of others, though. Like, if you're really trying to help somebody and you get killed in some bizarre manner, I usually leave it alone. It's not that I can't find humor in it if we were sitting at the bar having a conversation. But for the airwaves purposes, I typically leave it. If you're saving children from a burning building and you die in a bizarre way, like if something really bizarre, like not the burning building, but something else happens, which I might find humor in, like you do all of that and then you step out of the building just before it collapses, having been a hero, and you get run over by a truck. There's humor in that, but I'm not bringing it to the table.
It's the most unlucky hero ever.
Right.
What if you're trying to help somebody with a hot air balloon? You're trying to but you're just trying to loosen the rope, right? So they can get up and on their way.
Yeah.
But then it takes off suddenly, and then you're just clinging to the rope.
Let go of the rope.
But you don't.
Well,
until it's
then
too late.
now that's on you. Now I can make fun of you then.
Because you're trying to do somebody a solid.
But they shouldn't have been in a hot air balloon anyhow. Those are all just a bunch of bad decisions.
If it's
in that
connected
example.
to a hot air balloon,
you got to go.
It's in play.
It's in play. You go down in a hot air balloon, I got nothing for you. The hell you doing in a hot air balloon?
How about if you're a spectator at a PGA Tour event and the ball, a wayward drive.
Yeah, hits you in the head?
Hits you in the dome in just the right spot. Lights out.
Oh, it sucks for you. That's really unlucky. But 9 times out of 10, I see people get hit in the head with a baseball or a golf ball at a game or at a PGA Tour event. I'm laughing.
Okay.
Now, if they die, I'm not laughing. I don't want anybody to die.
Sure.
But initially, you think, oh.
That's probably not in play, is it?
Nah, probably not.
There was a tragic hockey death. That's why they have the nets behind.
Yeah, no, that's never in play. That's crazy. Yeah.
Espen Knudsen of the Columbus Blue Jackets, a little girl.
Yeah, no, that's not that would never be in play.
But of course not. But I have to say one thing. It's much like sitting on the baselines at a baseball game. I wouldn't bring a little kid, if there was no protection, and sit him down the baselines where a rocket shot foul ball.
Yeah,
at a moment.
But anymore, there aren't too many places where they're
starting to add the nets along the sides. But at the same time, to think as an adult that you're going to be paying attention at every split second for every pitch, that's probably a little bit unreasonable. So don't put yourself in that situation. Sit behind home plate or sit further down the baseline so you can hear the crowd.
I went to a Pirate spring training game and when Bryce was really young, and took him, and we got very good seats. And at a lot of spring training facilities, one of the draws to a spring training game is the intimacy of how close you can, especially the old school ones that have been around a long time. You can get right down on the field. You hear the sights, the sounds a little bit better. You hear the sounds of the game, and you see the sights of the game, of course, a little bit closer, a little bit more intimately. You have an opportunity to kind of analyze better, too. You can kind of point out shifts and all these different things better. But in that situation, I'm locked into each pitch because now I've taken the opportunity and the chance that comes with.
Sure. And those days before they added the nets, and this is probably going on nearly 15 years ago now, which, again, feel older every day because of things like this. But behind the nets at a hockey game was the highest leverage place to sit, for danger, because defensemen just put their hockey stick right in front of the puck as a guy who's winding up for a slap shot, and it's like a ramp effect. And they come in at 100 miles an hour behind the net, and it was just common practice. Nobody thought anything of it from a danger standpoint until somebody had to die.
By the way, this is an actually fascinating subject in the sense that if you grew up in the 70s going to sporting events or early 80s going to sporting, certainly before that time in the 60s, 50s, 40s, it's a wonder more people didn't get killed in general. I mean, think about the modern day policies in place now at professional and college stadiums where if there's a lightning strike 157 miles away, we all have to empty the premises for the next 5.5 hours. Man, I used to go sit at Ray J on those metal bleachers. In Florida, they're not telling anybody to go anywhere. There could be a storm cloud directly overhead. You could see lightning nearly hit somebody, and they'd be like, well, play on. I mean, that's the way it worked. I went to an exhibition NHL game at the Bayfront Center in St. Pete in like 1980. The Flyers came to town. I can remember this. And I remember I still have a stick. I still have a stick from that game they gave out to the kids when you came in. There were no nets.
Yeah.
I mean, pucks are flying every which way to Sunday.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you just head on a swivel.
Well, man, and in the early 2000s, you're talking about the modernization of the game. It's kind of like golf. The equipment was better, lighter, yet more powerful, low center of mass and gravity and all that stuff. And so there you go. You're getting high velocities. And you'd see people ducking out of the way. I had season tickets, so maybe once or twice a year somebody would take one off the shoulder. You'd laugh your ass off and think, man, that's what you get. You could have sat 10 rows closer under the glass, or you could have sat second deck. You're not having that happen if you sit along the sides of the ring.
You blame the people. I always do that. I'm always like, man, come on. Listen, at least 5 times a year, nothing was better than last year, and we even had a promo about it. That poor man selling beer.
Yeah.
Just
But at the same time, if you've got a little kid, then you've got to know where to sit, and you've got to be a responsible friggin' adult. It's I know it's a tangent, but it's like bringing toddlers and little babies to games. First of all, why? You can't find a sitter. You can't afford a sitter. Clearly, you've got expensive seats to a game. And secondly, there are loud noises, especially in an arena sport. Loud explosions and pyro. And a lot of parents don't bring the earmuffs for the kids.
So they freak out.
So they cry. They're scared, whatless.
I got to do the right thing, Tom. I got to get to a game beyond Clemson and Louisville. A game somewhere along the way.
And parenting.
I just got to get to these games. It is Redemption Thursday. The wagers, they got to be had. And I know that the slate of games is not the most enticing in the world. And I know what we're all waiting to happen at some point to talk, and next week we will, about an actual Florida State game. But I got to tell you, again, I think that this week does provide with opportunity. There are opportunities out there for people, and some of these games are actually fascinating. Let's go through this. I told you I took Louisville +3 against Clemson. More on that game in a bit. Oklahoma State given 13.5 against Pitt. I've just decided that Pitt's garbage. We're going to go all in here. Oklahoma State covers and covers easily. Duke is pretty good. My Smart Kids bet came through last week. I was all over Duke. They were actually getting points, I believe it was, or they were giving 3 or getting 3. I can't remember, but it was a low number against Northwestern. I said, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Northwestern's garbage. Duke doesn't suck.
Okay. So level of concern for the trip up to Wallace Wade.
No. It's a 1 because we can defend, and Duke can't defend. But Duke playing teams who have mediocre defenses are going to light them up. They have a quarterback. And by the way, you know who they play this week? Baylor.
Really?
Poor Baylor. Duke's given 14.5, and I'm laying it all day long.
That is one of those games where if you signed up for it, and you had to project forward as Duke, you're going, why are we signing up to play Baylor? That's a new juggernaut.
I would have said, had all that went south at Baylor had not gone south, that if they were as they were, that final score would have been 58-51. I still would have had that as a compelling game. Now I've just got Duke beating them by 40. Because apparently Baylor is going to lose every game they play this year.
Well, if they can lose to San Antonio, they certainly can lose to Duke.
They lost to Liberty, Tom. They lost at home to Liberty.
Many nations in our history have lost to Liberty, so.
Well played. Give me Oregon -14 versus Wyoming. Don't look now, but Oregon's got a little something for you.
That was a good game, oddly.
If you like
Scorefest.
Did you like my over there?
Yeah.
All day long?
All day.
Nearly at halftime had the cover there.
I knew by the second quarter that was going over.
Yep. Vandy +4.5 against Kansas State. I like Vandy's defense. I'm not about giving points with K-State on the road. Give me Vandy at home +4.5. You want a piece of that? Come on with it. Southern Cal is going to hammer Texas. They're giving 15. It's not enough. Sorry, Texas. Take your ass kicking. Mississippi State +7.5 against LSU. Can Mississippi State score enough? Because they will score this year. They've got a good quarterback. They're 2-0. They'll play this game like it's a big to-do because it is to them.
That matters in college.
That does matter.
Greatly.
Yeah. They'll play this game like it's a Super Bowl. They're getting 7.5. I went with them. I took Mississippi State because of the hook. Give me the hook. Mississippi State doesn't win the game. They lose the game by 7. And then in the NFL, I took a little T. Lizzie advice.
Ooh.
A little T. Lizzie advice on this one. I'm going to admit to it. And because he brought it up and because I watched them in the preseason, I know preseason, but I actually am kind of paying attention to what Cleveland's building. That number's too big, Tom Lang.
Okay.
Cleveland is getting 8 points against Baltimore.
Right, and everybody's going to overvalue that Baltimore had a default win against the Andy Dalton that once recorded a 2.
That's right.
For his quarterback rating.
Give me Cleveland +8 all day long.
Where is that game?
That's in Baltimore.
Oh, okay.
Home field in the NFL doesn't mean a damn thing, man. Home field in the NFL has largely become irrelevant. We've seen this happen now all the time. I mean,
8 points is a lot.
That's too many. That's too many.
Feels like a 4-point number is more befitting of that game.
Hence the reason I took Cleveland. There it is.
Put the wager down.
Give me the Browns. And I took Oakland and gave the 13.5 against the lowly Jets.
That's a home opener, too.
That's in Oakland. The Jets, man, I'm telling you, they're going to beat that ass.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
I'm telling you, yeah, I do too. Now, I also get it. It's the NFL.
Boy, you're right. Most of these, now, I know that you prefaced this whole thing earlier in the hour when you did your first pick.
Yes.
That, you don't usually play 10 games on a week.
No, I don't play 10 games.
But you've made a really compelling case for 6 or 7 of these games. Oh, yes.
I've got you thinking a little bit. Yeah, some potato chips are out there to be had. You get you a bag of Ruffles. Come on. You like Ruffles?
Sour cream and onion Ruffles, yeah.
The only kind of Ruffles you need.
Yeah, sour cream and onion, if you have Ridgy chips, like the Wise Ridgy sour cream and onion.
I like Ridgy chips.
They're very much like the Golden Flake sour cream. I don't eat potato chips a lot, but, for a long drive, get you a bag of Golden Flake sour cream and onions.
I hardly ever eat potato chips, but I like potato chips. I don't know anybody who doesn't like potato chips. They're terrible for you. There's not a redeeming thing about them, but they are, they're delicious. That's what's redeeming. But, yeah, sour cream and onion, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Also, any kind of vinegary something, any kind of vinegary.
But I think Lay's brand's just trash, All
they're
those
too
chips.
Too flat.
And they're
wafy.
It's like
you need to get thicker chips.
It's like Subway's default bread, just flaky.
Subway bread's garbage.
Yeah, you got it. Well, if you go to the wheat, you got a fighting chance.
You got to get the multigrain.
Well, that'll work too.
Yeah, you got to get the multigrain. Hour number 2, fourth company. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
AR financing. Hassle? No way. Haggle? Never. At Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC, you'll deal with people you know, like, and trust, and get the honest, friendly service you deserve. That's why our customers will tell you there's no better car buying experience in town. Visit us today at 1850 Capitol Circle Northeast or online at DaleJr.BuickGMC.com. And remember, you too can be a Hendrick driver.
Have you ever noticed when you report an accident or a claim to an insurance company, they are very eager to get you to one of their approved body shops. They say that they guarantee the shops work, but what they're really saying is the shop works for them, not the customer. So choose a shop that is working for and looking out for you, someone you trust. It's your choice. Lisa's Paint and Body.
License number MP46050.
And now, a Sport Clips well-played moment.
Gentlemen, as you sit in your car or on your stationary bicycle to victory, what do you ponder? Do you think about the fantasy trade your soon-to-be ex-best friend denied? That speech you rehearsed in the shower to confront the loud chewer at your office? Or have you forgotten what you think about? Fear not, because we have a lot on our minds, which includes a head of hair that must be maintained. Sport Clips Haircuts knows this, which is exactly why they created the ultimate haircut place for men who have other things to think about. A great MVP haircut experience with a hot steam towel, massaging shampoo, and sweet, sweet sports on TV. Everything you need for the hair on your head and face with little thought, planning, or preparation. Watch sports, feel great, problem solved. Then when it's done, look in the mirror and say to yourself, well played, sir. Well played.
Sport Clips Haircuts. Find a location near you at sportclips.com.
Dreaming of some new denim, dresses, tops, or skirts? Shopping at Goodies comes with all sorts of fun perks. Goodies is having a one-day sale this Friday and Saturday. And with your coupons, you can buy more and save more all weekend. To start, take 30% off purchases under $50 or 40% off your purchase of $50 or more. And if your purchase is $75 or more, you'll get 50% off. Get ready because this Buy More, Save More one-day sale starts Friday. Goodies. What will new bring out in you? Goodies is part of our Stage family. Offer exclusions apply.
The big game is almost here, but you can't afford to go because ticket prices are through the roof. Don't worry, we got your back. Anytix.com offers you the lowest price tickets, guaranteed. Anytix.com doesn't mark up tickets. Anytix.com has zero. That's right, no buyer, seller, or service fees. For a small monthly fee of $9.99, you get access to all their wholesale tickets. Go to Anytix.com today. That's Anytix, T-I-X-X. Enter the coupon code ESPNTally and get 20% off your subscription. Anytix.com, changing the way you buy tickets.
Want to know my favorite word? Simple. It's how I run my life. Wear the same work boots every day? Simple. Have the same lunch? Simple. Take the same route to work? Simple. But sometimes my job gets complicated. That's why I use Grainger. No matter what issues the job throws at me, Grainger keeps things simple. Online ordering? Simple. Managing my inventory? Simple. And if something pops up, Grainger's got my back with 24/7 customer support. Simple as that. Call, clickgrainger.com, or stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Knolls are heating up, and so are the Makita deals at Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, your Big Bend Makita Pro Center. The Build Your Own Kit promo is here with many options to choose from. Buy a Makita Dual Base Starter Kit with bag, 2 5-amp-hour batteries, and pick your 2 bare tools. Cornerstone Tool & Fastener, your professional and serious do-it-yourself shop. 1110 Stuckey Ave, Tallahassee, or 3269 Crawfordville Highway. Call them at 580-1200 in Tallahassee or 926-1144 in Crawfordville. Online at CTF.NU.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the first game of Week 2 tonight, the Houston Texans are expected to start rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Watson got the first-team reps in practice this week after replacing Tom Savage in the season opener. When the Houston Cougars take the field for Saturday's home opener against Rice, they'll wear the word Houston on the backs of their jerseys instead of their names. It's a tribute to the city after the devastation from Hurricane Harvey. To baseball, the Mariners activate right-hander Felix Hernandez from the DL today. He'll start tonight against the Rangers. Hernandez has been out almost 6 weeks with bursitis in his right shoulder. It's the second time this season he's had a lengthy stay on the DL. Golf, the third event of the PGA Tour playoffs starting at Conway Farms in Illinois. Mark Leishman, the leader, 5 under.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
Hour number 2, Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. But, hey, if you do, I got you. All 3 hours going to be posted both on iTunes and in our own audio vault. That's true. Go catch up at your leisure. Email the show if you like. It's JCS at 979ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow. WTSM app, good for your mobile devices. Hey, I just saw this. I really don't care to go deeply into the story because it's not all that important. But the headline kind of struck me. And I guess I don't know if I'd heard it called this before, but I see where the Vikings have hired an 18-year-old consultant. This would be cool as hell. To work as a Generation Z advisor.
Generation C?
Z.
Z. Okay.
Z as in Zorro.
Reminded me of all the calls I had to make to certain electric companies and such this week.
The Vikings have hired a recent high school graduate who calls himself a Gen Z guru to consult with the team on how to attract and keep young fans. Jonas Stillman, 18 years old, graduated from Minnetonka High School, 10 miles from the Vikings' current facility. Will include consulting with the team on a variety of club business initiatives, including team marketing and fan activation efforts. Boy, I think this guy could get over on the people he works for pretty easily.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. I'm not saying it's a terrible idea. I'm just saying 18-year-olds can tell 50-year-olds something that sounds reasonably technical, and those 50-year-olds go, oh, okay, immediately because they have no idea. It's just true. When you were a kid and you tried to explain something that was relatively a recent phenomenon in the world of, say, computers or anything else, your parents just kind of looked at you like you had a hole in your head.
Yeah. Yeah. First it was broadband internet.
Right.
And then it was Napster. I explained Napster to my parents, and they said, well, isn't that illegal? I said, no, it's Napster. It's free.
Well, it is illegal, but right.
And I said, no, it's Napster. It's the internet. The internet's all good.
It's crazy.
And then my dad, weeks later, hey, by the way,
there's a lawsuit.
I've been reading up on this Napster thing.
Yeah. But anything new, like even the most technologically savvy amongst us, you're pretty savvy. Millar would probably be the most of all of us.
I think so, yeah.
I think so. I mean, that's his area of expertise, right? So, but he would probably concede that as the father of 3 now and a very busy man who has a job and, responsibilities that don't allow him to just explore every new thing that comes down the pike on the internet, he would tell you he's probably getting passed by people graduating as computer science majors currently. So, anyhow, the point would be this. I would think that the 18-year-old could just say almost anything to a 60-year-old executive about what they need to do to reach out to Generation Z, because Generation Z is like an alien to somebody who's 60. I mean, hell, 20-year-olds confound me, and I'm 46. And I don't mean confound me as in they're able to kind of manipulate conversations in ways that confuse me, meaning that the things that interest them and the things that motivate them I find bizarre.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think to me it's the same way because I get my own generation and its foibles and they're ridiculous.
Right. And every generation has,
but millennials really are.
Oh yeah, special.
But Gen Z, I don't even have a chance to think about what would they grew up playing Minecraft or something. So what the hell do they care about? I don't know.
Right, like I think you're right. At 30, it would be hard for you to relate to an 18-year-old kid right now.
Yeah.
Like, if you talk to a kid graduating high school, you'd go, what the hell is this kid talking about?
Now, my niece was born in 2006, so she's going to be turning 11 this year in just a couple months. She's born just before Christmas. So I'm going to have to go to her and say, hey,
So what's the big deal? What's the to-do these days? What your kids talking about?
What you got going on,
But you're going to...
They don't have any buying power right now, though, so I don't know how lucrative that job really would be. It's like they always talk about it. You want the money demo.
Oh, sure.
And Gen Z ain't going to be in the money demo for quite some time.
About another 12 years or so. Right?
They probably just want still the same social media stuff that the millennials want. They're not old enough yet to explore anything new, I would think.
Here's what it goes on to say, that they wrote a book. This guy and his father wrote a book, Gen Z at Work, How the Next Generation is Transforming the Workplace. And that sounds like hogwash. It sounds like nonsense. It sounds like something you would write and make a lot of money having written, and bravo to them for having done so. And I haven't read the book. Maybe it's great. Maybe it's insightful. Maybe these guys are cutting edge. Just sounds like a title that you could hand over to a 50-year-old and they'd go, oh, wow.
Yes.
And do exactly what I was talking about.
Man, we know this. Like, even 4 or 5 years ago, you're hearing about social media marketing strategies, and it's like based upon impressions and all this stuff. And for example, a Facebook video, you see how many views it has, and you go, holy crap.
Right.
I thought YouTube videos had a lot of views. Well, they count it as a view if your screen hovers over it for 3 seconds, I believe. And you don't even have to click on the video
so
and
it's
listen
not
to the audio.
necessarily effective advertising as
No.
much as it is that, hey, you've accumulated a lot of views of people who aren't actually viewing or hearing about.
They might look at it for a second and then move on, but they're not taking in the context of the video. So these numbers are all highly inflated, and it's just sleight of hand stuff, just new age sleight of hand.
Wagers of the week look like this. Oklahoma State minus 13.5 on a redemption Thursday against Pitt. Duke minus 14.5 against Baylor. Got it. Give me Louisville in the biggest game of the weekend, +3 against Clemson at home. I got them winning the game outright. Wrong team's favorite, Tom.
I can feel it all the way down in my plums.
Southern Miss minus 6.5 against Louisiana Monroe. Oregon minus 14 against Wyoming. Vandy +4.5 against K-State. Southern Cal minus 15 to stomp Texas. Mississippi State's getting 7.5 at home. Big game for them. They'll lose the game. They'll cover the spread against LSU. And in the National Football League, somehow Tom and I have adopted Cleveland as our Jeff Cameron Show side team, who we think is going to play good defense this year. And Kaiser's interesting. So, all right, give me the 8 points against Baltimore, and Oakland minus 13.5 against the lowly Jets.
Man, we really never did pick our quest for 8-8 teams, did we?
Cleveland's not going to go 8-8. Can we get 6 wins out of you, Cleveland?
Would it be fair if I picked the Miami Dolphins? They made the playoffs last season, but Jay Cutler's their quarterback now.
Who I think is as good, if not better, than the quarterback they just lost.
Okay, so it wouldn't be fair to pick the Dolphins.
No. But I'm going to give you, I think we should both take Cleveland, and I think that number should be 6. And if you don't want Cleveland, then I think we should take the Rams and debate 6.5 as the over-under.
Man, well, yeah. I know,
Well, they're going to be 2-0 after this week.
What about San Francisco? Right now, it looks like the quest for 6 and 10 is a mighty quest indeed.
San Francisco, good Lord.
Can I have San Francisco for the quest for 6 and 10?
Yeah, and I'll take the under. You're going to lose. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I watched that game, and you're right. First of all, San Francisco has a little something up front for you. They got nothing at quarterback, and they're not going to move the football.
I largely agree with you. However, Foster was out of the game right out the gates, and thankfully it wasn't as serious as they originally thought it was going to be. It looked like it was season ending, and it may be a week or two. But that Carolina defense, to me, does look. I think there was a little bit of both going on at the same time. That San Francisco's offense was underwhelming, but then Carolina's defense at the linebacker level, especially, looks just as good as it did when they were making a run towards the Super Bowl.
And they surely won that game because of that defense and a couple of big plays. But Cam was terrible. I talked about that, and it'll be interesting to see.
Kuechly is unreal.
I mean, Brian Hoyer, man. I'm sorry.
It's 6 wins. That's all you got to get. 6 wins.
Can Pierre Garçon and
Carlos Hyde.
Hoyer, Hyde, Garçon.
And a special defense. Their secondary's not good.
I was going to say they're not that special. I don't know. No, a nice front seven, Tom.
Something to build around, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Keep an eye on those 49ers.
If you're going to games and you want hope, your hope is lies within that front seven. But after that, there's a whole lot of problems, and that's why I'll take the under on the 6 if you want to go down that road.
Well, stay in that division then. Take the Rams.
Well, I want this is a show effort. I want us to take a team.
Okay.
So we're going to have to agree upon a team. We've got to will them to 6. Is that what we're doing? I can't get there with you on San Francisco. San Francisco is not going to win 6 games. They suck. I can't do it. I like their defense. I'm with you on that. Okay, you want to go with the Rams?
How about Cleveland as a 6 and 10? We could find an 8 and 8 if we try hard enough. I think the league is built to have you go 8 and 8.
Sure, it's a salary cap league. That is true. That's what makes the Patriots all the more remarkable, just as it does teams that routinely don't find their way to 8 wins year in and year out, like Cleveland. Here's the deal. I think we should probably side with – well, it gets interesting. Let me ask you this question. Let's have a little fun. much to the chagrin of our listeners who are saying, what? But we're going to do a little W's and L's with the Rams here for a second because I find it fun. No, you don't even have to hit the sounder. They're not worthy of the sounder. Okay. But I want to rapid fire this because, honestly, if they take care of business at the Coliseum, the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, if they're able to win this weekend, they're 2-0, then they play San Francisco.
Yeah, because Los Angeles is dead, right? See? There it is. Los Angeles isn't dead.
Nope.
So I can have my Memorial Club level.
So then they've got San Francisco the week after. Very favorable schedule to start the year. Indianapolis, Washington, and San Francisco.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Then they got Dallas. They're going to lose that game. Then they got Seattle. They'll probably lose that game, although they always play Seattle well. Then they go on the road to Jacksonville. They'll probably lose that game flying across country, but it's an interesting game.
It's a 10-7 special.
That is. I don't trust Goff against Jacksonville's defense. Then they play Arizona, but they have the Giants and they have Houston.
1-1 at best.
They got New Orleans.
There's an opportunity there, yes.
They've got Arizona, Tennessee, Seattle.
Boy.
6 is going to be hard
Yeah,
to
I feel
get
like 4.5 is the number for their over-under.
Give me the over on 4.5 because they're going to get to 2-0 this week. They're almost there, buddy.
They're a quarter of the way
Yeah,
there
they're
to the
almost there. Come on. We can make it happen. No, you don't want to do the Rams? All right, Cleveland's our 6-win team then.
We got to find an 8-win team. Is there one out there? Or is it just one of those odd years where you have and have-nots?
Buffalo?
Yeah. I picked them once before and got burned.
Buffalo, maybe?
That was the first one. That was the one that broke the streak was Buffalo.
You want to look at I'm not going to touch Indianapolis. I'm not going to touch the Jets. Not going to touch New Orleans. They're garbage. It's hard. Maybe the Chargers.
That's what TPE said last week, but I don't like him being right, so we can move on from them.
Well, he's often wrong. We can go back through and cite all the times he's wrong. But, I root for my friends, Tom.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Supercenter has the largest selection of carts in the area. Pre-owned carts starting at just $19.99. New carts with a 4-year warranty starting at just $49.99. And at TNT, our service center and service technicians are trained, certified, and authorized for every brand we sell.
And there's plenty of parts and accessories too, right?
Our parts inventory is huge, and we'll dress up your existing cart with a full line of Magjack's premium accessory products like seat kits, light kits, lift kits, and now for a limited time, save 20% on all Magjack's parts and accessories.
TNT Supercenter, US 19 South, next to Dairy Queen in Thomasville, and online at TNTSupercenter.com.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get get $2.25 domestic drafts, $2.75 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill. Do you want the cleanest used car, truck, or SUV at the lowest price? FranksAutoWorld.com. How has Frank's Auto World become Tallahassee's fastest growing used car dealer? Simple. Frank carries up to 70 of the cleanest used cars, trucks, and SUVs, then prices them on the internet lower than the competition. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
Parker Brothers Roofing says don't play games with your roof. Protect your home and your family. The Parker Brothers tell you the truth. We'll fix your roof, cause it's what we do. With quality, integrity, and pride. Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
Customers constantly tell us that they're getting several estimates to compare apples to apples. You ever bite into an apple and find out the inside is rotten? Cheap roofing quotes are just like that rotten apple. Quote looks shiny and delicious because it's the cheapest, right? But you wind up with that rotten apple that leaks or starts to fail immediately. All roofing quotes are not equal. Cheap estimates equal cheap materials, subpar labor, or both. For quality that lasts, call us at 656-8112.
Parker Brothers Roofing, professional every time. Stay safe and dry inside.
License number CCC 049350.
You're listening to The Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
News is, all right, Butts fans, we came to a consensus during the break. Tom and I are going all in on the Jags to go 8-8 or better. Unlikely better, but we'll go 8-8 there with the Jags.
And that's not to fall victim to, overreacting
What they
to
did
week
with
one.
Houston, right.
Well, they just got a good defense, and it looks like it. We talked about this last week.
Well, they got an identity. Run the football, right.
Exactly. And they've
Take
got
the ball out of your quarterback's hands, be conservative on offense, don't lose the game that way, and play great defense. I'm with you.
It's going to limit them to succeed at a high level, but it's also an identity that's going to keep them in most every single game, and they've got the guy to give the ball to in those situations. So there you go.
All right, let's get back to this game. Let's get to a game that we both find intriguing. It has impact on the ACC, potentially has impact on Florida State, who will eventually play football again. And that is Clemson and Louisville. And it's a game I absolutely love. It's a game I'm very much looking forward to, just as I was a year ago. And just as we were a year ago, we talked about the game a lot before it happened. We both liked Clemson at that time. This game is eerily similar to me to the game that Louisville played not against Clemson a year ago, but rather against Florida State. At home, they're an underdog. Desperate, again, the mentality for Louisville, I talk about this a lot. This is why I wanted us to squash them. This is why I wanted Clemson to do a better job of squashing them when they played them a year ago. They're dangerous because they're invested, they care deeply, and they're hungry. And they have a unscrupulous head coach who's willing to do anything and a university that'll let anybody in. So you now have talent matched with, obviously, ambition and a willingness to stretch the rules.
Sure. But their APR school, scores through the roof, man.
So
APR juggernauts.
So what you have is the makings of a program rising up in the ranks, not only of college football, but specifically in the Atlantic, where the two blue bloods of the ACC football realm live, Florida State and Clemson. So I think Louisville is unique in this way. They're in another ambush situation here early in the season, and I think they'll be, obviously, the benefactors of an atmosphere that will be eerily similar to what it was last year at noon when we rolled in there. Now, a lot of circumstances came together, as I'm fond of noting, a confluence of events, as I like to say, occurred to lead to Florida State's massacre. But some of that, obviously, is an awfully large pat on the back to Louisville, who played that game as if they had something to prove, and a quarterback who, frankly, has taken a huge step forward, played a great game against us a year ago, but has taken big steps forward so far this year early in the season from the pocket, making plays with his arm, not just his legs, buying time with his legs, but still looking to throw downfield more accurately than he did a year ago. This is an intriguing game. Clemson's got a great defense. I wonder about Clemson's offense. The biggest thing that I'll tell you is that the reason I picked Louisville is not only atmosphere and a chance to, again, play with that chip on their shoulder, try to prove themselves once again against the juggernaut in the ACC, but also I don't see Clemson running the ball effectively. The loss of Gallman has proven to be a big one. Moreover, that offensive line, which was very good last year, is okay right now. It's not dominant right now. So Louisville's defense will have an opportunity, certainly, to protect its weakness, which is the back end, without having to worry about getting gashed up front in the run game. I believe they'll do enough defensively, coupled with an improved Lamar Jackson, who's already dynamic and very good, to beat Clemson, to win that game as a home dog.
Yeah, I think the number one difference, though, between our game last year and this game is that Clemson's defense is not going to coverage bust every other play. They're going to be ready to go. And that's defense. That's the bread and butter of this team. There's something to that. It was the expectation.
They're very good.
It was the expectation all season long that this defense was going to have to carry the offense. That defensive line looks like it's going to live up to the billing. Clemson, at least at that sector, in that segment on the field, is ready-made like a power program. They just churn out defensive line after defensive line, and they've got a couple of superstars up there.
Yes,
so
they do.
Lamar's going to have to be able to win from the pocket more often than he did last year when this offense and his skill set caught many teams by storm, us included. I just don't think that Clemson is going to be incompetently coached. Go back to the anonymous coaching reports from Athlon and what they said about what Venables does. They'll find something that is your weakness on tape, and he'll be able to coach them up in a week's time, and they're going to bring it to the table. If you don't perform well against something, expect to see it a lot against Clemson. Now, I'll grant you, this is a reigning Heisman Trophy winner who has improved year to year. I just think the ambush thing worked because they scored on every possession. They're not going to score on every single possession this weekend. The question to me is whether or not Clemson's offense, as currently constructed, can take advantage of a weak secondary for Louisville.
I don't think they'll do enough. I do think they'll slow, obviously, Lamar Jackson down. Clemson was so balanced, so deep on both sides of the ball a year ago, had taken control of the game early against Louisville at home at night. One mistake, one turnover, saw the game turn on its ear and nearly led to a loss because of a one-man show that was Lamar Jackson. He's better than he was a year ago. They're at home. I think, again, those two factors alone are enough to have me select Louisville in a close game, in a fun game, and a game that I'm really looking forward to. As an aside, again, I think it would behoove us at Florida State to see, in fact, Louisville win this game. I'm envisioning this scenario where Florida State takes on Louisville on the 21st in what is an incredible atmosphere, where I've talked about this before. The fans are in a position when we finally start playing freaking football. I think that, oddly enough, and we know, again, kids are subject to the whims of emotion more so than professionals. I really believe the fans will get behind this Florida State team in a way that speaks to perhaps a level of sympathy, empathy, and desperation. To lose your starting quarterback the first game of the year after playing so valiantly on defense, right? And to see the offensive line improve, to see that the makings of a great season were at hand, and to lose that kid, there's frustration, there's anger, there are all those things. But at some point, you shed that and you move on, and we do that thing that fans are great at doing, especially in college, where you try to will a team that's deficient in an area or young in an area, inexperienced in an area. You try to will them to succeed in spite of it. I think games at Doak are going to be, when we finally play them, a lot of fun this year. I think the fans will get behind this team. So why do I say all that? I say all that because I'm envisioning an atmosphere against Louisville in which Florida State, at this point, in my belief, will have already beaten NC State and Miami. and begun to win over the fans in a weird underdog role because they're playing with a true freshman quarterback. And he'll do enough to light the fire, to excite you. He'll make mistakes. They'll overcome him because of the defense. And we'll go into that Louisville game and say, you beat Louisville. It's not out of the question that you could win the ACC, that you could find yourself at least in that championship game. And given what happened the first game of the year, we would take it and run all day long because most people have already discarded any hope of the playoff or the national championship. So I want to see it. Maybe I'm hoping against hope. But if Louisville beats Clemson and then that game is as I just described, can you imagine that atmosphere? And then go from there. If you were able to get that win, if your defense carries the day and you are able to pick apart a bad Louisville secondary, which I agree it is, then you go on the road against Clemson.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, yeah, it would be a top 10 matchup against Louisville here in Tallahassee, too, because Louisville would presumably be undefeated by the time you play them. The one thing that concerns me is I don't think there's as much around Lamar Jackson as there was a year ago. And I think they found their tailback last week in North Carolina. They've been, shuffling back and forth. But it would seem that on game day, Malik Williams is the answer. He rushed for nearly 150 yards last week, I should say. But I'm not so sure about the receivers, and I think the running game is going to be a little bit more neutralized, at least traditionally speaking, with Clemson's defensive line and defensive front going up against Louisville's offensive line and their players in the backfield. Lamar Jackson's going to get his. But the thing is, in the first two games against Purdue and North Carolina, here's an example last week against North Carolina, Louisville put up over 700 yards of offense. That's nothing to sneeze at. They needed Lamar Jackson to account for 525 yards.
That's what he does, man.
But you would say, with a North Carolina team as outgunned as this year's version is compared to last season with Trubisky, I mean, a truly dominant offensive team or a truly dominant team overall that's ready for prime time and is ready to be a top 5 team in the country would blow the doors off of North Carolina and not have it be a game where your quarterback has to account for 500 yards of offense. The week prior against Purdue, you wouldn't need Lamar Jackson to do absolutely everything to win the game. In short, he is the person in the country, the one player in the country that you can depend on to go win you a football game, unlike any other. But I think they're going to have to lean on Lamar Jackson more this season to be the one and only showstopper. And I don't think Clemson's defense has fallen off year to year all that much, whereas Louisville is asking Lamar to do more. He'll have to do it from the pocket, and that's just a huge question if the pocket's going to be collapsing a little bit more than it has the first 2 weeks.
But he gets to do it at home, and he gets to do it as an improved quarterback who is certainly seeing the field better than he did all of last year. He's a kid who's gaining confidence throwing the football accurately. He's a kid who certainly can continue to buy time in the pocket with those legs and his shiftiness and his ability to elude the rush. I just think all those elements at home, listen, they are going to have to get off to a good start. They are going to have the lead, I think. I don't think this is a game where they get down like last year on the road. That was a rather improbable comeback sparked by a turnover. I don't think it happens here because I agree with you. I think the Clemson defense is salty, and if you know what's coming, obviously it changes things. But if they're able to stay somewhat balanced and make Clemson's defense play them honest, yeah, I think Lamar's improved that much. I think he'll make plays. I do. In the passing game, Tom, I think he will.
Well, and again, if Clemson's not scoring with any regularity, then this could be a moot point, and it could be a 27-10 type win for Louisville or 27-14
Wouldn't that be weird?
type
These two
win.
teams play, given what they were a year ago, and all of a sudden we're looking at some low-scoring affair. I do continue to question whether or not Clemson's going to run the ball nearly as well as they did a year ago. That was an aspect of what they did. There was a physical element to their running game a year ago, and that took a toll on defenses. So it wasn't just Deshaun Watson running around. Wayne Gallman ran the ball up,
Yes, exactly right.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to say that they are on the same level because, again, what we saw Maryland do to Texas was quite special, and what you saw that secondary look like was quite special. Reminded me of 2009 at a stadium near you.
Yes.
But there were moments, again, last week. I really watched that North Carolina game. I was flipping around for the Purdue-Louisville game, but I really watched the North Carolina-Louisville game.
We're betting, Tom.
Where that secondary looked completely lost. And I do believe that Clemson's coaching staff is superior top to bottom to the Louisville coaching staff. I got you. Petrino is a man's man when it comes to coaching.
Real good coach, man.
But Clemson has proven over the years to be ready for the primetime games. You have to give that to Dabo and the coaching staff. I think they'll have something ready for him.
Good game. Let's wager it. We'll make it our Lone Star.
Okay, a Lone Star.
It's going to be our Lone Star.
Big-time Lone Star.
Yeah, it's a huge Lone Star. And I'm taking the underdog. Really, I deserve all the credit here.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from LoCash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
In the center of Tallahassee, Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Proof Brewing Company and For the Table Hospitality present the 5th annual Florida Tap Invitational, September 29th and 30th. This 2-day event features a block party Friday and a beer festival on Saturday. VIP and general admission tickets are available at FloridaTapInvitational.com.
The coast is here. Wharf Casual Seafood is a family-friendly restaurant serving high-quality fresh seafood at a great value since 1986. Wharf Casual Seafood's philosophy is that seafood can be affordable, fast, and top-notch quality all at the same time. No one brings families together like Wharf Casual Seafood. Visit their Tallahassee locations on Bannerman Crossing and the newly opened Mahan location at the Costco shopping area. Open 7 days a week. Visit wharfcasualseafood.com for more information or to order online. No need to drive when the coast is here.
Bill's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Hey, this is Clay Culpepper with Miller's Tree Service. Summertime is here and storm season is right around the corner. We offer free consultations with a certified arborist where we meet with you and advise you on which trees are healthy, diseased, dead, or ones that may need trimming or even removal.
Bill's Tree Service, we go out on a limb for you.
Give us a call at 894-TREE.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Don't just listen to The Jeff Cameron Show. Watch it live. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Live weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. Head to ESPNTallahassee.com today to watch live or catch up on demand. The Jeff Cameron Show Streamcast. Brought to you by Nice Tire and Auto, your trusted Goodyear dealer. 574-4100. And presented by TNT Supercenter in Thomasville, Georgia. And Franklin Spring Creek Ford.
Get to JCPenney's 10 days of nonstop new fashion and beauty event. Starting this Friday, find amazing new deals every day. Friday only, our exclusive Libby Edelman collection has select styles at 50% off. And Saturday only, select Liz Claiborne over-the-knee boots are $49.99. Plus, get 2.5 carat lab-created white sapphire studs for just $10. Hurry, our deals are here today, new tomorrow. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. Offers represent savings on regular or original prices. Earrings offer valid through 9/24 while supplies last. Some exclusions apply. See store or jcp.com/new for event details.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the first game of Week 2 tonight, the Houston Texans are expected to start rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Watson got the first-team reps in practice this week after replacing Tom Savage in the season opener. When the Houston Cougars take the field for Saturday's home opener against Rice, They'll wear the word Houston on the backs of their jerseys instead of their names. It's a tribute to the city after the devastation from Hurricane Harvey. To baseball, the Mariners activate right-hander Felix Hernandez from the DL today. He'll start tonight against the Rangers. Hernandez has been out almost 6 weeks with bursitis in his right shoulder. It's the second time this season he's had a lengthy stay on the DL. Golf, the third event of the PGA Tour playoffs starting at Conway Farms in Illinois. Mark Leishman, the leader, 5 under.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautoworld.com.
Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Hey. It's time to do this thing, Tom. We should. And you know what? First of all, hit the sounder, and then I'll tell everybody about why we're excited to have them on board.
Jeff, what's your plan with all of this laundry?
Not my job.
Excuse me, get off the couch already.
Wash around the clock's got it. More watching, less washing.
Ooh. Best husband ever.
That's true. More watching, less washing, of course, is brought to you by our good friends at Wash Around the Clock. Actually, go to TallahasseeLaundry.com to find out what I'm talking about. Both Tom and myself use the service, so I can tell you personally about the amount of time saved not washing clothes, not doing laundry, not preparing to wash clothes, not folding clothes, not putting clothes away. Well, you got to put clothes away still. But if that's all you got to do, you're saving an awful lot of time. They pick up and deliver at your home or office. Ultimate convenience. Laundry, they do dry cleaning, pressing, you name it. They have it all. You can pick the package that's best for you, suits your life, your lifestyle. Whether you want them to come once every week, twice a week, maybe less. That's fine, too. They have a variety of packages. Tom and myself, we use this. We bring our clothes to work here just to make it a little easier. But they'll come to your home and pick it up right at your doorstep and drop it off, and you never have to think about it. And, you know, I'm a dad, married man, 2 kids. We're busy. My wife works, I work. And, you know, my kids are of that age now where they're participating, they're playing a lot of sports to go along with all the school activities. It felt like we were always doing laundry. And we were always doing laundry, just kind of part and parcel to being at home. When you're at home, you're doing laundry. And I thought about the time that we could save, learned about what Tallahassee Laundry does, what Wash Around the Clock does, and I went in on it. And we forged a good relationship, and I'm using the service now, and I'm not doing laundry. I'm saving a hell of a lot of time, and I'm watching games, and I'm doing whatever I want. I'm playing with my kids. I'm reading. I'm cooking dinner. I'm doing things I can do now that I couldn't before because I'm not washing clothes. Wash Around the Clock, TallahasseeLaundry.com. Go check it out. Easy Laundry is the service I'm talking about. When you go to the website, you'll see, again, TallahasseeLaundry.com, what I'm talking about. A lot of ways to save time, folks.
I know this is where I am supposed to jump in and endorse as well because I do believe in what Wash Around the Clock does. The folding is neat, and they do your linens. They fold the fitted sheet, which is really cool. Also, a nice touch last week, they brought back all my button-down and polo shirts, like dry cleaning style, with the hanger and the bag and everything. Mm-hmm. So you can hang those in your closet right away. But you already hit on all the major points, and you've done a good enough job. Next week, I will tell you about my personal experience.
Well, yeah, just listen, man. At the end of the day, imagine somebody else doing your damn laundry. We're done here. There you go. You, your spouse, your loved one, your friends, whoever it is that you live with, your roommate, whatever it might be, you're saving time.
Yeah, the other thing is it's punctual. It's punctual.
Well, yeah.
You have a schedule. It will be done by the schedule. It will be picked up by the schedule. You don't have to. No guesswork.
And the beauty of that, of course, is that again you're saving a lot of time, and time is money. Now, more watching, less washing has this to do, right? We've got to pick the games. What will we be watching? Well, there are, and I've talked a lot about the college slate because I picked so many college games for Redemption Thursday. There are a lot of really interesting NFL games. That's true every week, at least in terms of the amount of games you think will be close. But while we're still trying to decide who's what, these early season games with intriguing matchups, yeah, they draw me a little extra. Obviously, Tampa Bay at 1 o'clock in Tampa. They are going to play that game. It was announced earlier in the week the Bucs will host that game at Raymond James. You know, the Bears have already played a game. Now, of course, they lost that game, but they played valiantly. They were in it to the very end with a chance to win it against the Falcons, who we think are a decidedly better team than Chicago. So if, in fact, improvements happen at a greater rate from week 1 to week 2 than at any other time, well, that could be a problem for the Bucs who haven't played a game, at least in terms of the rust factor. The Bucs are the more talented team. They're the better team. They have more weapons. Should be interesting to see, though, without having played a game, the effects of that time off and the effects of the game played a week ago for Chicago. That's a game I'll be watching for sure.
Yeah, 22 days will have passed between the time the first team offense had taken a snap and playing an actual game together, which is just nuts because the Bucs obviously, like most
unlike
teams,
our college football team,
right? It'll be 21 days for the college football team.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's you can hear the annoying tenor in our voice. This is probably why we like to watch our teams. And to me, we talk about this all the time off the air. Who's got the better slate on a given weekend? The NFL has a much better slate than college top to bottom on Sunday than the college game does on Saturday. Thankfully, they spaced out the college this weekend.
Yeah.
Last weekend, it was highly concentrated. But you got Tennessee, Florida, which is, you kind of just want to watch that and laugh a little bit for both squads. But that's at 3:30. That's nice.
That's
you
a
get
good
some
game,
comedy at 3:30 in the afternoon, followed by the game Clemson-Louisville that everybody wanted to see. And the ACC really would have had a doubleheader and then some.
Florida State, Miami, and
was
then
supposed to
obviously
be
Clemson, Louisville. That would have been a humdinger.
Clemson, Louisville would have been the 3:30 kick, and then Florida State, Miami. What a day it would have been for ACC football instead.
Let's not spend time lamenting that. Let's also remind you that at 1 o'clock, Titans-Jags. Very interesting on Sunday. Titans-Jags, I think, is a great game.
Yeah, Browns-Ravens is more interesting than it usually is twice a year. I mean, again, I'll be watching on the Vegas wall at the CP, but it'll be one I'll check in on a little bit. I wouldn't even look at that television on the Vegas wall two times a year most years. But Eagles-Chiefs at 1 o'clock is a great game.
Eagles-Chiefs right there. Vikes-Steelers, very good game. The Dolphins go across the country to take on the Chargers in what I think is a good game as well.
Listen, the Saints didn't stand a chance at all because, the Patriots are coming off of a loss anyway, and the Saints can't defend. And,
Short week, and then you got to get your ass beaten there. Got extra rest and motivation.
How about the NFL scheduling the Saints on a short week with the Patriots, who had a game last Thursday, a week ago tonight?
Yeah, that's a joke, by the way. I'm serious now. If I were a Saints fan, that you should be beside yourself. That's just wrong. You give one team an extra couple of days rest, 3 days rest, and you schedule the other on a short rest. Man alive.
That is some BS.
Yeah, that's a toughie.
Yeah, Vikings-Steelers is interesting, too, because the Bucs and the Vikings face off next week, and you really want to know, was it a mirage because New Orleans is just so bad, or do the Vikings really have something for you?
Cowboys-Broncos. Packers-Falcons.
Yeah, that's the 8 o'clock game on
Sunday.
Sunday.
I'm telling you, there's a lot of really good games. So I'm excited about that. You should be too. More watching, less washing. Go see my friends wash around the clock. Go to TallahasseeLaundry.com and check out the Easy Laundry feature that I'm talking about. You can click on there. They give you more information, and you'll learn about all the time you're going to save and how convenient and easy it is. Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9, ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday night football? How about the fourth quarter, where you'll get $2.25 domestic drafts, $2.75 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink, and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
Front Row Knowles with Tom Block and Keith Jones. Brought to you by Cornerstone Tool and Fastener. And presented by Hobson Chevrolet of Cairo, Georgia. Wednesday nights at 6 on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Football season is here, and it's time to score big and get in on the action with MyBookie.ag. MyBookie is an industry-leading website and the best place for you to cash in on all the insane last-minute drives, huge upsets, and heart-pounding finishes. Join now, and MyBookie will match your deposit with up to a 100% bonus. They have in-game live betting on nearly every sporting event, plus a user-friendly mobile site so you never miss a single play. Are you sick and tired of getting the runaround when you ask for a payout? Come join MyBookie today. With decades of expertise, no hassle payouts, and no fine print, you'll experience the greatest customer service in the business, guaranteed. Use promo code RADIO to activate your bonus of up to 100%. Call 844-900-2387 or visit mybookie.ag to open an account. That's 844-900-BETS, or go online to mybookie.ag and use promo code RADIO. Win with the best, only at MyBookie. Sign up today.
Do you want the cleanest used car, truck, or SUV at the lowest price? FranksAutoWorld.com. How has Frank's Auto World become Tallahassee's fastest growing used car dealer? Simple. Frank carries up to 70 of the cleanest used cars, trucks, and SUVs, then prices them on the internet lower than the competition. Think I'm kidding? Type in FranksAutoWorld.com on your smartphone, iPad, or desktop. Get multiple pictures and even a free Carfax of each vehicle and a rating by Car Gurus showing you the price is a good deal. FranksAutoWorld.com.
What am I going to do about Joey? He's staying so overwhelmed with homework, assignments, and tests. He's working so hard, but I don't know how to help.
Hi, I'm Lance Davis. Let Engaged Academics help your child learn how to cope with the stresses of academics. Visit engagedacademics.org for more information. That's engagedacademics.org.
This is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thinking over, under. Okay. I wonder how many times we'll see Cam Akers run in the Wildcat or some such gimmick this year for Jimbo Fisher. You and I talked about it off the air. Let's bring it on the air and carry it over into the next hour because I think it's an interesting question. Basically, and I'm paraphrasing and kind of reading between the lines, Jimbo was asked a question last night about could you have Cam Akers throw the football out of the backfield or run some sort of wildcat. And he talked about the need for Cam to learn other aspects of the game before you burden him with those kinds of plays or put that on his plate, if you will. But he didn't denounce it. He didn't outright throw it away as a useless suggestion. He even intimated that they've worked on some of those things.
That isn't a no, Jimbo.
That isn't a no.
Which is news in and of itself, given Coach Fisher.
Right. I think that I want to tie this into something here. What a weird moment of freedom or a freeing thing losing your starting quarterback can be. It's not ideal. It's not something you'd wish for. And it's certainly most unfortunate for DeAndre Francois and all of us who see the way that kid works and certainly his toughness. All of those things feel terrible for him. Having said that, once again, what we talked about before the hurricane came through when we were going to have to start a true freshman quarterback, and we thought it was going to be that week, and then later on we thought, okay, well, maybe it's Miami. And anyhow, now here it is on the 23rd against NC State. But either way, you knew you're going to have to change the offense a little, right? Maybe pare it down, call a game a little bit differently, play to your defensive strengths, of course. And Jimbo prides himself on playing to his team's strength and playing to the other side of the football as well. And recognizing what a team is in any given year. You know, those years where he knew he didn't have a defense, he called the game a certain way in which he almost guaranteed more possessions and a high-scoring affair and sort of a he who has the ball last mentality. And he protected the defense. In years where he had balance, he called a balanced game. In years, he's usually balanced either way in terms of the number of runs called and passes called. But when you lose your starting quarterback, all bets are off, especially when you have to turn to a true freshman. And when you have a unique talent in the form of Cam Akers, who played quarterback in high school. And I'll grant you, he is purely a running back as recruited by Jimbo Fisher. But he does throw a nice ball.
Yes.
He does.
Yes, he does.
He does. So it would almost be foolish to exclude that as a possibility or not take advantage of that skill set. After all, he did it with Jaquez Patrick, who threw a beautiful football as well. Here's what I'll tell you that I find fascinating. I think it's a chance to maybe delve into some things and do things offensively that you wouldn't otherwise engage in, or even at times you look down upon in years past. Jimbo runs, compared to most coaches and most college offenses you see, a more pro-style offense. Certainly a very diverse offense, but it requires the quarterback to make plays from the pockets, to read a defense, to go through his progressions. And while he may look down on some of the more gimmicky aspects of RPOs and things that a lot of colleges run, and he may not want to incorporate that in any given year while a guy tries to learn his system and rep his system, the concepts and philosophy that he holds dear and identifies with and believes in more than another, let's say. This would be the year where you could forego it and you'd be excused for doing so, and you'd have an opportunity to maybe do some things you've always thought would be fun. Do some things that you've always maybe wondered about, but you thought, I don't need to burden my club with this while I'm trying to teach them the core of what we do, the concepts that I believe in, the way I want to run an offense. I'm not saying, he said it before, and we've talked about it. Hey, we're prepared to do anything under the umbrella of quote unquote my offense. We have concepts that are more in line with some of the things you see in non-pro style offenses around the country. It's just that's not the core of what I do. But we have it in the playbook. You could really kind of, vet some of those things, flesh out some of those things, and do some more of those things because you just lost your starting quarterback. So why the hell not?
Yeah, this sounds like a great topic for the top of the hour, and maybe something you could talk about over a nice cold craft beer.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I see you working over here. Why don't you cue that sucker up at the end of the hour? Folks are getting off work.
Count 'em up, pour 'em out.
I'll just have a cup of coffee.
There it is. It's Beer 30, brought to you by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
I will talk about this topic to start the next hour because it's a fun one, and I hope he does it. And I do think, we can incorporate all kinds of odd ideas and things to have fun with. It is Beer 30. It's the last half hour of the workday, if you will. It's the perfect time for Beer 30, presented by our friends at the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway.
Man, here's the thing.
What do they got going tonight?
These offensive decisions.
Live band.
Well, they do. It's live music Thursday.
You're damn right it is.
Wine happy hour specials all night. So
and by the way, the taps are all working.
The taps are all working. See, that's the thing. That's where I was going to go with this. First of all, you're getting in your car. It's time to reroute your way home. Stop by the 7th Hill Tap Room on Appalachia Parkway. These choices that Jimbo has to make on offense, it's like self-service taps. You can choose 14 different taps, man. And one of those taps is a Wildcat. Maybe it's a Tasty Porter. Another one of those choices
perhaps
is traditional offense throwing down the field. Maybe an IPA.
Could be.
With some notes of grapefruit introduced.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's all about
It's still
passion
warm
fruit,
outside.
grapefruit.
I got it.
Yeah. Or maybe it's a bland, vanilla offensive approach, like one against Delaware State, where you want to go with some hard water style. Craft
find
deliciousness.
A way to work in the freaking hard water as if they're paying you direct. Do I not know something?
No.
What's going on here?
I
Is
wish.
MIA hard water just funneling money into your account?
I endorse the hell out
You
of that
love the
product.
hell out of
I
that
do.
hard water.
It's like you
Good
and
Lord.
man, and any kind of pale ale. Listen, you love the Bell's Two Hearted. They don't.
I do.
Bell's doesn't pay you money,
No.
but you love to tell people about the
I
Bell's
don't
Two Hearted.
prattle on every day about it. I mean, good Lord, you with the MIA hard water.
Well, the happy hour special of today, they have several, but the one for today, since the taps are back, why don't you get yourself a crowler for Thursday Night Football? Buy one delicious 32-ounce crowler. You get the second one half price every day from 4 to 7 p.m.
Let's talk offensive football. Let's talk about the freedom. Unshackled. The opportunities now to just do anything you've ever dreamt of doing, to kind of just delve into the parts of your playbook that normally you don't care to spend a lot of time on. To kind of be the anti-Jimbo as Jimbo. You can do whatever you want here. Catch people by surprise. Just immerse yourself in the oddities of the game and decide, I'm going to go mad scientist on that ass because I can.
I'm old Midge. I'm the anti-Jimbo.
Final hour forthcoming. Stay with.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Bluntstown Highway, 574-4100.
You put your mower through a lot. All that back and forth can add up to thousands of miles. That's like mowing cross country. Gravely commercial mowers are built for all-day performance, helping you get the job done mile after mile. Gravely, built to mow the distance.
Get your Gravely motor only at TNT Supercenter, your one-stop shop for work or play. 14585 Highway 19 South, Thomasville, Georgia. TNTSupercenter.com.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Satisfy big appetites at Stables, featuring hot and cold sandwiches, salads, and weekend specials. There's always something exciting going on at Creek Entertainment Gretna, I-10 exit 174, Gretna, Florida.
At Whole Foods Market, we believe in real food. Food that's full of nutrients, naturally vivid and colorful, fresh and delicious. Food that connects you to your body, to the seasons, and to the natural world. We believe food should nourish you and help you think. It should help you feel calm, clear-headed, and strong. It should help you do more, sleep better, and wake up happier. That's food that lives up to its name. We believe in real food. Whole Foods Market.
Get your weekend started right here on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Saturdays at 6 a.m. with Fishing Florida Radio. Listen to the three amigos, Boudreaux, Steve Chapman, and Captain Mike Ortega as they catch you up to speed on what's new and biting in the North Florida region. Big-time guests, celebrities, interviews, and 3 hours of the fishing info you need. Fishing Florida Radio is brought to you by Sea Quarters Marina off Highway 98 in Carabel. Sea Quarters Marina, your full-service marina, and presented by Hobbit American Grill, locally owned and operated since 1978.
Attention all business owners, it's here. 97.9 ESPN Radio has developed the Triple Play, Tallahassee's most effective advertising campaign. The Triple Play combines radio, TV, and the internet, and it's brought to you only by Tallahassee's #1 sports station.
Hi, I'm Travis Kelly, account executive here at 97.9 ESPN Radio. Call me at 561-8400 right now to find out more about the Triple Play advertising campaign and to begin growing your business. It's football season. Everybody's listening. Call me, Travis Kelly, at
561-8400 to partner your business with Tallahassee Sports Monster.
Broadcasting live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios. This is 97.9 ESPN Radio, WTSM, Woodville, Thomasville, Tallahassee.
ESPN Radio Sports Center.
I'm Doug Brown. In the first game of Week 2 tonight, the Houston Texans are expected to start rookie quarterback Deshaun Watson against the Bengals in Cincinnati. Watson got the first-team reps in practice this week after replacing Tom Savage in the season opener. When the Houston Cougars take the field for Saturday's home opener against Rice, they'll wear the word Houston on the backs of their jerseys instead of their names. It's a tribute to the city after the devastation from Hurricane Harvey. To baseball, the Mariners activate right-hander Felix Hernandez from the DL today. He'll start tonight against the Rangers. Hernandez has been out almost 6 weeks with bursitis in his right shoulder. It's the second time this season he's had a lengthy stay on the DL. Golf, the third event of the PGA Tour playoffs starting at Conway Farms in Illinois. Mark Leishman, the leader, 5 under.
It's official. Weekends are now reserved for football. So come watch it at B-Dubs with other fans who are all there for the same reason, to watch sports. In a place packed with roaring fans and a vast menu of food. It's built for fans. It's home for football. It's Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports.
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
Final hour of the Jeff Cameron Show, at least for today. Thanks for tuning to it. I'm Jeff, that's Tom. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. It's Redemption Thursday. Woohoo! Got my wagers, buddy. Throw them out there. We have our Lone Star. I do believe. We're online, ESPNTallahassee.com. That's where you go to listen live via the streaming free. Always don't miss anything. If you do, go back, catch up at your leisure. All 3 hours going to be posted upon the conclusion of the program this evening. That's good. Email the show if you want, jcs at 97.ESPNradio.com. Find me on Twitter at JCameronShow, WTSM app for your mobile devices. Lots of ways to catch up, stay current. Whatever it is you need to do to access the show, we got you. Also on YouTube, ESPN Tallahassee. Thanks for watching on YouTube.
Man, if anybody in the listener community has a great cowboy voice, you could just send us your voice clip saying the Lone Star Wager of the Week. We could trump it up with all kinds of music and stuff.
We
could do fantastic.
Yeah. We should. Well, you could reach out to Bob Mello. You could reach out. He's got his voice is perfect for everybody. It's just a perfect voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sam Elliott.
Yeah, that kind of style.
You could reach. Well, see if Sam Elliott will do it.
Oh yeah.
No,
sure.
I'm saying I'd rather have him do it. I don't need some listener to do it. I need Sam Elliott to do it.
Time was two fellas who were pretty funny in Tallahassee.
Yeah, you should do it.
Would make a wager once a week.
Here we go for charitable purposes. Of course, your wagers look like this on Redemption Thursday. Come take advantage of me. Many people have so far this season. Why don't it become you as well? Oklahoma State minus 13.5 against Pitt. Touchdown Cowboys.
It's another big play for the Cowboys.
Duke minus 14.5 to stomp Baylor, who lost to Liberty, and then Texas El Paso. Tough times at Baylor. Good. Louisville's getting 3 at home against Clemson. They're going to beat Clemson. They're going to. Tom's wrong. I'm right. Southern Miss minus 6.5 against Louisiana Monroe. Oregon's giving 14 against Wyoming. I did that. Vandy's getting 4.5 at home. No. Come on, Commodores. Getting 4.5 against K-State. I'll take it. Come on.
That sounded personal.
I do kind of like Vandy. I had a friend who went to Vandy, and I've always kind of liked Vandy.
We're learning something today.
I do like Vandy. I don't know why. Well, it's a great school, and I like the city. Southern Cal minus 15 versus Texas. Mississippi State's getting 7.5 against LSU. I did it. I like the hook in that game, as I said. I'm a big fan of the hook right there. And 2 NFL games see Cleveland getting 8 points against Baltimore. Cleveland's defense is good enough to lose by a touchdown. They'll keep it there. And Oakland's given 13.5 to the sorry-ass Jets, and I'll give it all day long. Jets flying across the country to get stomped by a good Oakland team.
Marshawn Lynch looked pretty good last week. I know you watched the abridged version of that game.
I did, and, I will say I was kind of surprised. But then again, I guess that guy could just play I think he could just play football after being retired for 5 years. He's got a mentality and a toughness to him that I think translates no matter where he is or how old he is. I get the feeling that at 50, that guy's going to be kind of tough.
He might not be NFL good anymore.
Yeah, he would be NFL good, but he'd be tough. Like, you wouldn't want to mess with him.
No, I would never want to mess with the beast mode.
No, but I mean, at 50 and 60, you're not going to want to. Jim Brown, like at some point, I remember he was like 55 years old, and I thought, I bet you Jim Brown could still beat a young man's ass. Man. And then at 65, I thought, I bet you Jim Brown could still beat a young man's ass. Yeah.
You get your hands on you.
Yeah.
You're screwed.
Right.
He was in Mars Attacks. Remember that awful movie, the ensemble cast, Mars Attacks? It had everybody in it. Jack Nicholson, Jim Brown, obviously, Tom Jones, the singer, and Danny DeVito.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, he's in that movie, and he's working in Vegas as a character, and he's got to be 50, 55 years old, and he still looks imposing.
Right.
You're like, whoa.
Look what's going on here.
So I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. That'll be Marshawn Lynch at 70.
If he's still around. Football is a rough game on the Dome.
And he hasn't exactly run to protect.
No.
So
that's why we love him.
Well, right. And he'll be a guy that I think I don't know. We'll see. Some guys, listen, I didn't play in the NFL, and I didn't even play beyond a very brief stint of college football, but 4 years of high school, and then prior to that, Pee-wee football and all that other stuff. And I never suffered a concussion. And I know guys that played,
sure?
I'm pretty sure. I did one time suffer, I guess if you get knocked out at any point while playing football, I suppose you were concussed. I didn't have lingering effects. I was fine, and it was in practice by my own teammate. I was blocking down. I was playing tight end. I was blocking down, and I got hit by a fullback who wasn't looking up.
That was a promo back in the day.
Might have been.
The crackback?
No, that was different. No.
Okay.
I got cracked back on. I was playing defensive end. No. That pissed me off. But anyhow, that
was a promo back around 06.
Yeah, No. I got ear-holed by a backup fullback, and I was trying to block down, and he just didn't. He should have cut out. It was a good block. Anyhow, the point of that is this: I got knocked out, but that's the only time I can think of that I ever had anything like that happen. This is enough about me. The reason I bring that up is that I played with guys, and that there were guys that went on to play 4 years of big-time college football and like me, and then went on to the pros, who I know never suffered a concussion, or played with guys 10 years in the league who didn't suffer. It's possible to play football and not suffer a concussion. It happens. I know it doesn't seem that way anymore, and I get the reason to hyper-focus on the safety elements of the game that they ignored for so many years, and I'm for that. And it's called into question the whole sport that we love. I got you. And I'm open-minded enough to have that larger discussion with you and what it means for the long-term health or existence of the sport for that matter. But I know people who play at high levels of football for long periods of time and never suffered a concussion. So I guess I shouldn't assume that Marshawn Lynch or anybody else that plays a rugged style of football has necessarily had a concussion. I mean, I don't know. I mean, there are guys 75, 80 years old that played in the most brutal days of the NFL that are able to sit here and carry on a very intelligent conversation with you. It exists. And we do know that everybody's brain is different. More importantly, the casing is different for everybody and skull structure and all that. Some guys aren't subject to that. I mean, or didn't suffer it.
Agreed, but it's going to be a funny, not funny, but a fun test case, interesting test case about 10, 15 years from now about this era. Because this era is bigger, stronger, faster. You're running at top speeds. You're trained all year round. This isn't like, the 60s.
I completely agree with you. That's why you have 250-pound men running 4.40s, and the collisions are as violent as they are. It may be that you can't avoid concussions for the modern player, and that's true.
He ditches it out like he's a linebacker playing tailback.
That's true, and I find all of that interesting, right? I mean, I think that's a facet that 25 years from now, maybe less, we'll be talking about almost in terms of what's happened to the sport. Like I guess what I'm getting at is football may be decidedly different, both in how it's played and how often it's played and by how many people.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's Marshawn Lynch going to be like when he's 50? You got to assume that he's going to be, what?
I would assume that he'll be a lot like people who boxed.
Okay.
Right?
Well, that's not a good look for the NFL. That's not what they want.
Almost always when you go back and hear a fighter that was great in an era that you watched and you saw all of his, I mean, have you listened to Evander Holyfield? Have you heard him speak?
No, he doesn't really make the front of the camera too often.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, it's not shocking, but it's heartbreaking. So yeah, I would assume Marshawn Lynch will fall under that umbrella, probably. Because of the running style and who he was. We'll see.
Will Cam Akers fall under that umbrella?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I
asked that question because of the Wildcat stuff.
I got you. That's interesting. That gets back into kind of what we were talking about before, about whether or not people who play, are we going to assume all people who play end up having concussion? I sure hope not. I sure hope we do see him in that Wildcat. I sure hope we see that facet of Jimbo's offense and some of the more playful aspects of the game that he has not usually embraced. That's not to say that Jimbo's closed-minded or doesn't have trick plays or whatever it is. Isn't. I think there's a freedom that comes with losing your starting quarterback for the year in the first game of the season, especially in a year in which you then have to turn to a true freshman. And because of that, I wonder, just curious, will he choose to do things that really on a game-to-game basis last year, year before that we just didn't expect to see? Will we be more often than not this year talking about 2 or 3 plays a game that you thought, wow, that's in the playbook? What did Jimbo just run there? Think about this. Remember after the E.J. Manuel win over Clemson here, where the defense was so bad and Jimbo realized early on it was going to be a score fest. You always bring this example up because there's a great moment on the sideline between him and Mark Stoops, and it's kind of, I got you. Don't worry about it. I know Clemson's going to score tonight. That's okay. So are we. I got this. He had figured it out, and he runs that play to Kelvin Benjamin, and it works, and we thought, why not run it to a faster receiver at 7? But, the little flip on the reverse and the whole thing. We see it every now and again. Jimbo will run a play like the Jacques Patrick tailback pass a year ago where we thought, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Might we see more of that kind of stuff this year? Because I think, again, you could choose to do it. There's a freedom that comes with losing your starting quarterback for the year where maybe you don't need to do it, but maybe you want to try some things out.
The way he answered last night's question, I submit to you he was going to do it anyway. I think he was going to do it anyway. He was not dismissive of the idea. To recap
for people real quick, and I want you to finish your point. Somebody called in and basically asked Jimbo, would we see something like that from Cam Akers? And again, I'm rapid-fire paraphrasing here, but he didn't just completely dismiss it. He basically said, well, we got to make sure he knows how to play the other elements of the game, and I don't want to put too much on his plate too soon. But, yeah, sure, you could do that. Yeah, he didn't dismiss it outright.
He also said something along the lines, and this was Jimbo, again, talking at a million miles and a million words a minute. And he said something to the effect of, and there's stuff we have and we can do, but to use it largely, to use it as an element of your offense, he's got to worry about other things. So A, that's not a no, and B, I'd remind you, and you just brought up a great example last year of the pass from Jacques Patrick, one of the nicer thrown balls all season long.
Laser, yeah.
Is that he called 2 double reverses and a traditional RPO this past game against Alabama this week. Well, or first game, I should say.
Yeah, about a month and a half ago.
A month and a half ago, yes. I just want to believe it's this week and lie to myself. But there it was. He called 2 double reverses. Second one was dumb. First one worked. It worked nicely. Actually, there was one block. I think it was Leonard that missed the block on the second one, but it could have been a big play. But then he called on that 4th down play with Francois rolling to his right when Gavin's open.
RPO.
That's the newfangled, the real RPOs, not the NFL-style RPO smoke play where you throw it a receiver if you like the numbers.
No, real RPO.
Well, damn it, there's already evidence there.
Well, right. There's evidence that he's embracing that part of the game that he loathes, the same way that his mentor, Nick Saban, does and has over the last 2 years. And that's a good sign. Now, one of the things I find fascinating about that is, yes, is that the gateway to more experimentation from Jimbo Fisher within the offense, especially now that he's afforded those opportunities with the loss of a starting quarterback where maybe you'd have to, A, perhaps pare down the playbook a little bit, but also delve into other aspects of it that you wouldn't ordinarily do because you don't need to. But now maybe you need to with a true freshman quarterback. Maybe you need to explore those options. Element of surprise is always something that offensive coordinators, play callers are looking to unleash on a defense, but none more so than when you're desperate and have to do some things outside of the realm of what you thought you were going to have to do before the season began and before you knew you were going to lose your starting quarterback.
There is no doubt that to an NFL scout, to an NFL front office and coaching staff, what Jimbo teaches here is pro style because of the concepts that a quarterback must command.
And all the kids that have come out, you always hear the coach that they go to say, "Oh, I was very impressed when I looked at Florida State's playbook. A lot of what they teach and rep is the stuff we do here."
Dirk Cutter said the playbook was bigger for Florida State than it was for the Buccaneers. That may be problematic to a degree, but Jimbo, will teach to a certain skill set. But I call it multiple. This offense is multiple. It demands that you know pro-style concepts, but that, are we going to ignore the time that he ran option football with Christian Ponder and E.J. Manuel? You can't ignore that. The pistol, the option. He even ran the Wildcat with Chris Thompson on the road at Clemson in desperation mode, grant you. But after the Oklahoma loss here in Tallahassee,
was a disaster.
It was. But this guy's not afraid to be multiple on offense.
No. And he, by the way, the phrase elements, if you ask him about things that fans want to see, like the RPOs, or any of the stuff with the up-tempo spread offenses that became in vogue a number of years ago, that he doesn't always incorporate, he'll tell you, "Oh, well, we have elements. We have those elements in our offense. We have those elements in our playbook." I think that's accurate. He does. He wants to be able to teach as diverse an offense as possible, and he certainly wants you to be able to do and perform and execute any play he calls in any given situation. And the playbook in that sense is large. He's got core principles and concepts that he believes in that he needs you to understand and be able to execute flawlessly, Smash being one of those. Smash being a big one. But that's fine. That's great. That's good. Lots of teams, most teams, all coaches have those things. That's why Coach Fisher is forever talking about, hey, listen, you can incorporate other elements all you want, but you are who you are, and coaches are who they are. They're not going to stray too far away from the things that they believe in that got them to where they are. And I agree with that. That's fine. You got to be who you are and execute those things and do them very, very well before you decide to kind of go out of your comfort zone and embrace some of the other elements. But yes, those elements are most definitely there. And if ever you were going to embrace those outside elements more, it would be in a year like this, I would think, where you do lose your starting quarterback and you now welcome into the fold a freshman. The counter to that is, do you want to do that with a true freshman quarterback? Well, we're talking about some of the things that go beyond that, like using Cam Akers in that role.
Again, I think he was going to do some of that anyway. This just hastens the need for it. If things don't work, let's just say you beat NC State, and then you go on the road.
Well, you're going to beat NC State.
You take care. It's
going to happen.
Wake, you come back, you play Miami. But, first few drives, they don't go so well. And it's a good defense doing what a good defense does. And you just want to throw a change up for that ass. Well, I would think in the extra
for that ass
in the second fall camp that we've had, you might be repping some of the other stuff, like this particular principle.
Nothing like having 26 weeks between games to prep for anything you want to throw at an opposing defense, Tom.
Sweet Jesus.
Tomorrow's Friday, buddy. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough. like a state of mind. Tough like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck, always enough. I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford, the place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
It's oil changes in 45 minutes or less with no appointment necessary. Here's how it works. When you come to Kraft Nissan for an oil change, you're greeted by a dedicated express service advisor. Sign the advisor's iPad and have a seat in our waiting room. A team of 2 lube technicians will immediately take your car directly to service and complete the oil change. And remember, Kraft Nissan services all makes and models. And we sell tires for less. Compare us to the box stores and compare us to the tire stores. We'll beat their price. Plus, new tires come with free rotations for the life of the tires. We also have our Value Advantage line of parts that are priced to compete with aftermarket and parts stores, but still have full Nissan factory warranty. So competitively priced that Kraft Nissan will give you a 30-day price match guarantee in writing. And we offer the Kraft Nissan service card, same as cash for 6 months on purchases over $299.
So give us a try. Oil changes in 45 minutes or less and no appointment necessary. Just stop by.
Kraft Nissan on Mahan Drive between Academy Sports and Costco. Service card with approved credit.
Beef O'Brady's 2 for $20. The only hard part is choosing. First, pick a starter to share. Then pick 2 entrees like grilled shrimp and a steak bowl. All for $20. Beef O'Brady's, where 2 for $20 gets you plenty.
Football is here, Tallahassee, and if you're not watching the games at Tallahassee's favorite hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill on North Monroe Street, you're missing out. With over 28 TVs, you'll never miss a second of the action. Kick your week off with Monday Night Football, where you'll get 2-for-1 wells, calls, and drafts all night long. Then there's Tuesday Night Trivia with Professor Jimmy. Go win yourself some money. What about lunch? Weekdays, pick from over 20 menu items for just $7.50, including a drink. What you doing for Thursday Night Football? How about the Fourth Quarter, where you'll get 225 domestic drafts, 275 domestic bottles, and $4 Jaeger bombs. No weekend would be complete without Bubbles and Brunch. From 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., get all the mimosas and Bloody Marys you can drink and a breakfast for $18.99. Can you say Uber? Knowles, Bucks, Jags, or Finns, no matter who your favorite team is, take it to 2033 North Monroe Street and watch them at Tallahassee's favorite football hangout, the Fourth Quarter Bar and Grill.
From PBS and Emmy Award-winning directors Ken Burns and Lynn Novick comes a landmark documentary event, The Vietnam War.
What was it all about? Was it worth it?
It was extremely traumatic, like the ground was suddenly cut from under you.
See the series Vanity Fair calls a monumental achievement, The Vietnam War. Tune in or stream, starting Sunday at 8/7 Central, only on PBS.
You're locked in with the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio.
Jeff Cameron Show 97.9 ESPN Radio. Thanks for tuning to it. Just so you know, Tom, Alex Smith has noted that he'll likely play somewhere else in 2018. Just thought you needed to know that. I figure you'll lobby for him to come to Tampa's backup. Quality backup! Yes, quality backup! Yeah.
Hell yeah, as a quality backup. There you go. Man, it's John Kitna, Carson Palmer, or Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees situation, though. They really like what they have in Mahomes. He knows that, the writing's on the wall.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, put together a good year. It's a contract year for him in a sense. And he can go find it. There are going to be 10 to 12 markets who would be dying to have checked down Alex Smith. Absolutely true.
The state of quarterback in the National Football League is a constant topic nationally. It's written about. It's certainly an interesting subject because when you look at the money being thrown around to guys that I think we would all define oftentimes as marginal players. Matthew Stafford's record is against above 500 teams, 5-46 or whatever it is, and he's the highest paid football player in the league. Now, I understand that's timing, but it just tells you there are so few guys that can sling it. By the way, I don't think Matthew Stafford's terrible. I just don't think he's great.
But they've never been able to run the ball his entire time there.
Yeah, and they've struggled in the red zone and all that good stuff.
They've never been able to run the ball in Detroit.
They haven't. He's got a cannon, and there are a lot of moments where it's fun to watch him on film. He makes throws that people shouldn't make. And that you go, what are you? Oh, got it in there, did you? Well, I mean, he has that ability. But the point wasn't to drag him down necessarily as much as it was to say, that guy can get that kind of money because there's just a dearth of quality quarterback play. And so when you look at those that are on the horizon, and this is why a guy like Alex Smith comes up and others do, when you say, well, what team is going to pay him a ton of money? Well, I agree with Tom. I don't think you're wrong. I think that somebody out there will pay him a lot of money to be average, to be what he is, a check-down champion, to not turn the football over. It'll be a team that has a good defense. It'll be a team that wants to run the ball. It'll be a team that thinks that you can get to maybe a playoff game with Alex Smith. And you know, I wouldn't want him. I don't think he's very good. I don't think you're winning championships with him. But there are way worse quarterbacks in the league, to be sure.
Well, I think if you give him weapons, then all of a sudden, you know, you got yourself somebody who can win you 10 or 11 games because he manages the game when he doesn't have weapons. When he does, he's able to throw the ball a little bit more down the field. But, you know, you call a game to your strengths, and I think he's been in two coaching staffs that do just that. Andy Reid knows what he does and does not have, offensively speaking, when he's in Kansas City. And with Jim Harbaugh, it was all about running first when the times were good in San Francisco. I know he was there predating, you know, Harbaugh. He was there with Nolan as well. Yeah. But still, you know, he had a couple coaching staffs with offenses that were underwhelming. I mean, you know, Ted Ginn was the best player from a downfield weapon standpoint on San Francisco all those years ago, if I recall correctly. Crabtree never got it done there, and Vernon Davis was their best overall weapon, not named Frank Gore. So what are you going to do with that? Not a whole lot. And then until this year in Kansas City, I mean, Dwayne Bowe was kind of this player that was always talked about but never really delivered, and Travis Kelce's been their best weapon in the passing game since he's been there. So maybe a team like Arizona comes calling for him next year because I don't think Carson Palmer's long for this world.
Yeah, the problem with Alex Smith is that even when he's had a few guys, and you mentioned Dwayne Bowe, he had two really, really good seasons. And there was that stretch where, what was it, 594 passes without throwing a touchdown to a wide receiver. That can't happen. You know, that's I get it.
Substantial, though, I think. At some point, you know,
yeah,
you can't just point at the quarterback. If he could throw a touchdown to a wide receiver, I think he would prefer to throw a touchdown to a wide receiver.
Well, but I think it also speaks to what he's inclined to do most, and that's to check down. That's to look for a tight end. That's to try to find the safe play. He wasn't a guy that was going to challenge you down the field. You know, you go back, I mean, they brought in Jeremy Maclin, and it's not as if I'm not saying that he's a terrible player. I'm just saying there are guys a lot like him that very fond of just taking the safe route. It'll be interesting to see. Like Sam Bradford's a good example. Is he going to throw the ball more downfield with Stephon Diggs, and if they have a running game and there's more balance there, are we going to see more of what we saw there? Are we going to see Alex Smith do more of what we just saw him do? Are those guys capable of coming out of that in those situations, which would be great to see? Obviously, at that point, they're going to make themselves a hell of a lot more money. Because I think we all sat there flabbergasted.
Yeah, I get we watched the game, and so it's not just about bland numbers telling the whole story. But I mean, if you do look at his interception totals for his career, he hasn't thrown double-digit interceptions since 2010, Alex Smith, and his quarterback rating has been north of 88 each year that he's been in Kansas City. It's been north of 90. 4 out of 5 full seasons that he's played there. So, I mean, he's playing complementary football, as Jimbo talks about. He's not a player like Aaron Rodgers that it doesn't matter what five are out there, he's going to go make plays, but he's also going to give you a chance to win the football game in a league where more teams lose games than win games.
I've always said more teams lose games than win games, and I've always said, too, that the difference between the top-tier quarterbacks and then everybody else is usually it's readily apparent. There are 3 or 4 guys that you would take over everybody else, and then after that, it's a hodgepodge of guys between 6 and 20.
Sure. And what did Brad Johnson say when he did the long form with him last year?
Yeah.
Man, the only stat I care about was wins. You know, did we win the game? Because you can always nitpick everything else, but if you're playing the correct amount of complementary football, then you're winning the game. And he's had 3 11-win seasons in his last 4 regular seasons, and he had 6 years ago, the 13-win season when he played a full 16 with San Francisco before he was relieved for Kaepernick the next year.
That stat matters more now than it used to. In fact, I would go back and say that I would have a disagreement with Brad to some extent during his time, because what I don't like is when people apply W's and L's strictly to quarterback play in the ultimate team game. But quarterbacks now are so protected, and it's a league that's quarterback-driven, and because you have the ability to throw the football a ton in today's football game, you're going to need a guy. You're going to need a guy who makes plays. You're going to need a guy to be a difference maker in the game. You could win Super Bowls, you could win a ton of games back in the day, and be a game manager. Trent Dilfer and those guys won Super Bowls because of it, and Brad fits in that category. Now, Brad had a couple of good seasons where he actually made plays and went to the Pro Bowl, threw for over 4,000 yards, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, if you look at his right now, Alex Smith and his time at Kansas City, his touchdown interception ratio is 91-28. And in this day and age, that's a hugely important number. Again, with Kansas City's defense being what it was, what's interesting about Kansas City this year is it has more weapons offensively, so it promises to be more productive. We'll see what happens with a full 16 games of Alex Smith with this type of explosive offense, both in the passing game and the run game. But it's also a team that's going to be missing Eric Berry for the entire season. So, might they need more points on a weekly basis? Eric Berry is that important of a player.
And a good dude. Hate to see him get hurt. That's why I brought Alex Smith up. I mean, just in looking at quarterback play, he fits squarely in the middle of the league, slightly above average, and a guy that I wonder if he can change his stripes. We're going to be looking at him and Sam Bradford, because those guys check down way too often for my taste, yet, as you correctly noted, they ain't going to turn the ball over. Hard to do when you're not taking chances down the field. You're not going to turn it over. That works if you have all the other elements in play to win you a bunch of games, like a great defense and a running game. Yeah, sure, don't take chances. But we would never want Jameis to be that.
Sure. No,
and he didn't even do that when he didn't have weapons.
No, I agree. Ideally, you want a quarterback that, win or lose, has given you a chance to win the football game.
And make plays.
Right. But again, I think the mandate for what Alex Smith has been asked to do is different. Jameis's mandate, even when he came to Tampa, was turn it loose. Let's flip the script here, because the defense wasn't great. The offense certainly wasn't shambles except for Mike Evans. Vincent Jackson was hardly available, even though we thought maybe for his rookie season he might have 2 viable weapons. It only turned out to be 1.
Yep.
It's just, I think they're being asked to do different things, and yes, at the same time, their nature is different.
Very different.
On the field.
Very different. Yeah, and that's a fine line, right? If you get a guy like that, that's great. Okay, good. Now I got to get him out of his shell, especially as we add weapons.
Sure, yeah.
And get him to think differently at the line of scrimmage about opportunity.
Right, but now, again, like we were talking about on the Scuttlebucks podcast, it's different when a team that's a have when it comes to offensive weapons takes the field, because you could feel it as a fan on the other sideline, and we've seen this with Tampa for so many years. You breathe a sigh of relief when they're punting. You go, whew, okay, got off the field.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's possible for the Atlanta Falcons for the last 4 or 5 years. When, like the Thursday night game, in a way, it feels like when you play a bad defense like Tampa's has been, that should happen almost every game.
Yeah.
And Atlanta did do it to us about 2 or 3 times where you go, well, they're just unstoppable. They've got weapons at every level, in every sector of the field, beyond the numbers, in the middle of the football field, in the ground game.
Sure.
Tampa's going to be one of those this year, and it looks like Kansas City might be making an argument with Tyreek Hill over the middle, Kelsey mid-level, and then Kareem Hunt in the backfield as well.
It's fun to watch all of that play out, and for the Bucs to be a team like that and to have the mentality that Jameis has and not have to worry about it. It's funny to watch, too, coaches try to rein that in, even though they'd rather have the guy that takes chances and seeks to attack and wants to make plays on offense and threaten the defense at every level, time and again. It's the fine line, and it's a debatable point.
But I think the fun part is I think we're reverting back to a discussion we had about Jameis in 2013. And there were an awful lot of games. I can think about one specifically. It was the Saturday night win over Miami when it was a top 10 game. And there were quite a few times, and especially in the first half, where Jameis was taking chances down the field and he had checkdowns wide open. The other thing to remember, and the hard point to coach and rein in when you can, if you have that many weapons over the top, the check down is going to be wide open.
Well, and when you're checking down to a star,
right,
you're checking down to a playmaker.
When Freeman was in the flat, he's wide open, and he's got 15 yards in front of him. You put the ball in his hands, he's going to get you 20, 25 yards down the field.
Jimbo rightfully snapped back. I think it was on Irish FL about you guys always bitch that he never checks down, takes chances down the field. Now that he's checking down, you remember that? It was the whole. It had come full circle, that argument. It makes me laugh when you see that guy, he's opening the flats, and you're going, I get it. I know you got weapons down the field, but if they're not going to cover him and he's going to make the first guy miss, you got to do that every time. Force them to change. Then you can make your plays down the field. It's good to have options. The Chiefs may have options. The Vikings may have options. And the Bucs finally have options. These are the teams that are all teams that when we came into the season we said potentially could take a huge step forward because of the additions to being 11-win teams, 12-win teams, now that these options avail themselves and they drafted properly.
I know it's a college football town, and this is mostly a college football show, but this is why the NFL to me is really interesting this year. Kansas City is on everybody's radar right now because of what they did week 1 and what it looks like they may have offensively speaking. Minnesota is on everyone's radar, not just because here in Dalvin Cook territory, everybody wants to see what 33 does. But, okay, Sam Bradford, you have our attention. You know, the whole offense has our attention. I think it'll be a great game to watch this weekend as they play the Steelers. All right, you did it against the sorry-ass Saints back end of the defense, but if you play a real secondary with a real defensive line, how productive are you truly going to be as a quarterback?
Well, and the Rams play Washington, and Goff could have another big day, Tom, and all of a sudden I'll be out here apologizing again as the 2-0 Rams are swinging it around the yard.
As we talked about earlier today, Jags and Tennessee. Yeah. That's a compelling game as well.
That's a great game. Well, and listen, and in the not-too-distant future, the very same discussion we're having about all these veteran quarterbacks, we're going to be having about a certain quarterback in Tennessee. And I've said that since day one. He does a lot of things well. He's pretty safe. Not going to turn it over. Everybody complains about Jameis's turnover. And Mariota doesn't turn it over. Yeah, he also doesn't make a lot of plays down the field.
Correct. People always want to – national media types, I don't want to be Jimbo. Yeah. Specifically, national media types have compared this guy to Aaron Rodgers in the making, not just Tony Dungy. Ooh. I've heard that subsequent to Tony Dungy.
It's lunacy.
It's been co-opted.
It's nuts.
He's Alex Smith more than he is Aaron Rodgers. And you can win with Alex Smith.
Right, but I don't want him.
But don't confuse the two.
No.
You can't. They may even look alike, and they do. But you cannot confuse the two.
That's crazy. Why? How would that be? How would his name come up in the same breath? I don't understand. I mean, there's a want to for nice guys.
Yep.
That's across the board.
That's what
it really
is.
There's a want to for nice guys.
He was positioned as a nice guy against evil Jameis Winston, and that has blossomed into its own little plant.
Oh, well, sure. And there are plenty of people who buy into that narrative and that storyline, and they look for any opportunity to promote it, but the numbers don't show it. And moreover, I think that has started to shift dramatically. I do believe Hard Knocks helped Jameis immeasurably.
I agree with you.
Yeah. I think there are enough people now that go, oh, well, wait a minute. He seems like a legitimately good guy who's working his ass off. And, come to think of it, he's in year 3 in Tampa and has never had a peep. Nothing's happened to him off the field except for great accolades and kindness.
Right, and he doesn't even come off in HBO as a cocky ass or something like that.
He comes across as a hard-working franchise quarterback who's there to help the community, his teammates in any way possible, and, go win football games while putting up huge numbers and carry that franchise to another level. Sure, that's leadership.
He comes across as a country geek, a lovable country geek.
Who loves football in a way that's uncomfortable. It's the Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio.
When you're in need of auto repairs, look no further than Nice Tire and Auto Service. Nice has been in business for 16 years with long-term, knowledgeable sales associates. They have the latest wheel balancing machine in the industry. And for passenger vehicles, they service AC, brakes, suspension, tune-ups, and much more. Never sit through a long wait. Nice Tire and Auto has 10 service bays to get you back on the road quickly. If you have tire problems, check out their large inventory with various Goodyear and Michelin tires. Nice Tire and Auto Service, 4792 Blountstown Highway, 574-4100.
You can tell a lot about a tractor by its warranty. That's why Mahindra makes the toughest tractors on earth. With steel, not plastic. Backed by the industry's best limited powertrain warranty, period. Not 5 years, not 6 years, but a full 7 years on select models. No wonder the other guys are green with envy.
No money down, 0% interest, and no payments until July. Available at TNT Supercenter.
I'm talking tough, like a state of mind. Tough, like a soldier on the front line. Tough when it gets rough, like my Ford truck. Always enough, I'm talking tough.
Franklin Spring Creek Ford. The place to find your next truck in southern Georgia.
I'm talking tough.
Hey y'all, we're Chris and Preston from Low Cash. Head to Franklin, Spring Creek Ford and see them about all of your vehicle needs.
Heaves, you're so parched. You know it. I know it. The entire radio knows it. Just admit it. You want a Mountain Dew. Your mouth feels like it just inhaled the insides of a punching bag, and the only remedy is that neon green potion. Right now, your mouth could be tongue bathing in the refreshing citrus kick of Mountain Dew. Instead, it feels like you've been motorboating King Tut's sarcophagus. Show some mercy. Crack open an ice-cold Mountain Dew. You know your mouth wants you to. Do the Dew.
Nothing quite beats authentic Italian food and a Pepsi. Indulge your taste buds and experience all the flavor of Italy right here in Tallahassee. Visit Urban Food Market today, located in the center of Tallahassee. Urban Food Market, proud to serve Pepsi.
Might I suggest the chicken taco salad from Banditos Burritos, my friend?
Live from the Dale Earnhardt Jr. Buick GMC Cadillac Studios in the capital city of Tallahassee, this is the Jeff Cameron Show on 97.9 ESPN Radio. Redemption Thursday on the Jeff Cameron Show is brought to you by Frank's Auto World on West Tennessee Street, ranked by Car Gurus as the best used car dealer in Tallahassee. Check out the best selection of pre-owned vehicles in Tallahassee at franksautowworld.com.
Jeff Cameron Show, 97.9 ESPN Radio. Weird week, but football tonight makes it an easier week. Even though it's not FSU football. Damn it, man. I didn't think I'd want to watch Cincinnati, Houston at all. But now I do. Partly because of starting Deshaun Watson, and partly because there's no way that Homeboy can post lower than a 24.
I don't think so, but you could be watching.
Well, there is a way. He did have a 2 in his career, but I mean, not back-to-back weeks.
And it was on a Thursday night that he posted his 2, because I remember we talked about it on the Libations Friday. But, no, I mean, I think also at the same time, it's like kind of watching a car wreck, but since the NFL is so new, we're fine with the car wreck. We've been starving for anything, everything, and this is the definition of anything.
Well, and it is. Weird things happen, though, as you say, in the first 3 to 4 weeks of the NFL season, where you feel like you have a real good handle on what's happening, and then all of a sudden the team's not what they appear to be, both for good and for worse. You see teams start out sometimes 1-0, 2-0, look like a team that's going to be a solid pick moving forward, and then they're not, of course. And then the same thing happens in reverse. You see these bad teams. I don't think the Texans' problems are going to be solved by Deshaun Watson, because their problems are the offensive line, and while he is mobile and he can get the hell out of the way, and they can yell duck maybe a little sooner than they did last week for Savage, I do think they'll be better, obviously. They now know they have a horrific problem on their hands, and if you simplify things enough and roll him out of the pocket a lot, it could be a far more formidable offense.
What I saw in the preseason, I thought he was their guy. I don't know if he's going to be a franchise quarterback, but he's certainly stable enough. It looks like the game moves slowly enough for a rookie, and he is a rookie, but it's slowly enough for him that I think they'll be okay. Again, I mean, from week 1 to week 2, teams do typically progress, but they only had 3 days to kind of repair all kinds of issues. The bottom line for Houston is if they don't turn the ball over 3 or 4 times,
they've got a good defense.
They've got a good enough defense that's going to give them a chance to win the football game. And you would think that that given with all the weapons that Cincinnati has, too, they're trying to simplify their attack and find an identity. Like, tailbacks.
Give the ball to Joe Mixon.
They got 19 tailbacks. Let's pick one, and let's start with one and see what happens if you give them 12 to 15 touches at minimum.
It's a miracle that staff stays together. They're a pretty poorly coached team. I can think of at least 5 or 6 examples in the last 5 years where we've had to talk about something Cincinnati did in a game where we thought just fundamentally, how does that happen? How do you come into a game with the mindset being what it was as illustrated by play calling in that game? You don't always do that.
Sometimes it's personnel. Sometimes a guy just can't get over the hump and you say, boy, that guy snake bit. The coach has really struggled in these bigger games and maybe the moments are too big for him. But by and large, they have an identity. They know what they are. If you're a playoff team, that's usually the case. And they've been a playoff team plenty of times. And yet we have these moments with Cincinnati over the years where we go, wow, that was something.
If Marvin Lewis makes it to his next season as the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals,
25 years he's been there, it feels.
It will be his 15th.
Yeah.
I pull this up every month to remind myself.
That guy has a job.
He was named head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals when
2002?
when I was in high school. I was a junior in high school.
Well, and the problem is this. I get wanting continuity. And I get when a guy makes the playoffs, and he has several times. Well, how many in his 15 years?
I can tell you 7. Because
until last year, half of his seasons he had taken that team to the playoffs. And it's Cincinnati. It's not like they have this long-standing history of greatness. I know, I understand they've been in the Super Bowl, and I remember both times. But what I'm saying is that you go to the playoffs half your years in a place, you can see why somebody would want to keep you around. It's just that they don't win actual playoff games.
Right. You know how I knew that he played or had appeared in 7 playoffs? Because his record's 0-7. Can't lose twice in the playoffs. It's single elimination. So I know by definition it's been 7 years.
Yeah.
They had opportunities, though, in his tenure. They've had opportunities with Carson Palmer and with Andy Dalton as quarterbacks.
Oh, and I'm not making the case for him to keep his job. I'm saying the mindset is of an organization, okay, we're going to keep him. Could we do better? Maybe. Could we do worse? Yeah, we could. I mean, we're making the playoffs 50% of the time. We're going to keep him. And yet, at some point, a fresh set of eyes might do them something.
Well, I'm glad the Bucs thought differently. Then, let's try and keep continuity here because Tony Dungy would have been there until the end of time. But they said, enough is enough. Our window is closing. We got to win this thing.
Yeah. Well, he refused to make changes, if you recall. I mean, there were specific requests made of him that he refused to adhere to. And once an organization makes ultimatums and you tell them no, your job is in peril. My guess is Marvin would say yes to whatever the organization told him to do in every single circumstance.
They've probably said, we don't care who you sign, because they've signed countless examples, drafted countless examples of people that
are bad guys.
Would give you
just say it, bad guys.
Yes.
Well, it's not just give you pause. They're bad dudes.
And it's still not working. It hasn't worked.
Tom, they make the playoffs 50% of the time.
Oh, my God.
So that's a little bit of what's on tap. Fire it up. Let's use that along with something else I'm going to say.
Ready for a cold one? Proof Brewing Company and Railroad Square Art Park presents What's on Tap. So, Jeff, what'll it be?
Well, football obviously is on tap tonight, but also I'll say that a little Major League Baseball mixed in for me with some contemplation, and I mean this in a good way. It'll be a smile on my face as I think back to being a kid and listening to Husker Du albums and the Replacements, because Grant Hart has passed away in his 50s. And it's hard to imagine. He had cancer. It's not altogether shocking for those that had been keeping track of his plight. Then you knew of Grant Hart's situation. But I hate it. I hate it that he has passed. I think it was 56, Tom. And I bring it up because if you started to get into alternative music, punk music in the early to mid-'80s, this is right up my alley, obviously. I started to get into the 2 quintessential Minneapolis bands for that scene. Now, Minneapolis has had a long series of great bands come out of there and great singer-songwriters to boot. But Husker Du and the Replacements were my bands. And I can still remember listening to Zen Arcade. I can still remember listening to Candy Apple Gray. I can still remember listening to New Day Rising and putting, back then, I guess, tapes, first records, then tapes, and listening to those and just being blown away. Fun band. And then Bob Mould came out of that and ended up having a great solo career and is a wonderful songwriter. People know, if you're around my age, you know what I'm talking about. So I'll do that. I'll do that tonight. And I won't be terribly sad. I'll look at it with great fondness. The only time I get real sad when something like this happens, and he didn't take great care of himself, and it doesn't mean that I want the guy to die. Then obviously getting cancer and dying at 56, that's tough. But they were hugely influential, and I got to enjoy their music, and they helped influence many more years of music love and entertainment and really kind of searching for other sounds of that ilk that led me to any number of other bands. So I'll enjoy that tonight.
For me, I'll be watching A.J. Green, Nuke Hopkins, and the Houston Texans defense and special teams. I bet you can guess why I would be doing that, but I'll be doing that.
Yeah.
And if the game sucks, I'll flip over to Boise State and New Mexico and hope that
They're
there's an
playing
upset.
tonight?
Yeah, 8 p.m. An 8 p.m. kick.
All right.
We really don't have those good Thursday night games yet, so this is what you're dealing with. But it's at least something to flip to when the NFL does commercial, kickoff commercial. Although I've noticed less of that. The NFL's done less of that, and also more timeouts are becoming 30-second timeouts.
They
and
are
staying on the
doing
field.
a better job of that. By the way, as an aside, just so you'll know this, in case it ever comes up in trivia, because it might, Husker Du's band name originates from the Talking Heads song Psycho Killer. They love the Talking Heads.
I wonder what trivia I would have to be at.
Any kind of music. I mean, Husker Du's pretty damn influential. Of that generation, you'll hear a number of great bands that you do like tell you that they love Husker Du. So that would maybe come up. Because everybody always wonders, well, what the hell kind of name is that? What does that come from?
Comes from the Talking Heads song
Psycho Killer.
Psycho Killer.
Which you like the Talking Heads, and you know Psycho Killer.
I do like the Talking Heads, absolutely.
And you know Psycho Killer, right?
I'm sure I do if I heard it. Yeah.
You've heard the song. I know you have.
That's what I'm saying.
You've
I'm
gone
not
through
lying.
the whole Talking Heads thing.
Not the whole pantheon, not the whole discography. I've been through an album or two.
Didn't I end up saying grab these three, and you did, I think?
You told me grab one. That was for the Boston trip 2 years ago.
Ah, and you listened to it, though.
I did.
I know you did.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's
you
on my phone. I can't think of the name of it. But
okay. It was one of the early
Zimbro
ones.
was the first song on the album.
Okay. Well done. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. All right, so that's what's on tap tonight. Now let's do probables.
It's time for, how you say, with the pitching, probables?
Braves, Nats, Mike Foltynewicz, Tanner Roark. Orioles, Yankees, Wade Miley, Masahiro Tanaka. Marlins, Phillies, Jose Urena and Jake Thompson. We've got Royals, Indians, Jacob Junis, Josh Tomlin. They going to win tonight?
I don't know. That's really a horrible answer for Sports Talk Radio. I don't know.
I'm trying to pick the exact moment the streak ends. I would have picked it, obviously, long before 21, 22, 23 games.
Isn't the old adage, don't bet against a streak?
It is, but it is baseball. They can't go on and on and on and on winning games. Surely, well, Tomlin went 5 innings, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits while striking out 3 against the O's on Saturday. He's been really, really good. So maybe I won't pick tonight.
But if they do, then you could say that's baseball, because only baseball can provide something so wacky as a 22-game winning streak.
Yeah, and if it happens, damn it, man. Oh, by the way, did you see what your Mets did? See what Harvey did?
Pitched 3 innings and 3 1/3, gave up 2 runs.
And they dominated.
Yeah.
They scored 17 runs for him. Mets, Cubs, Seth Lugo, Jin Ho Seng. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. He's making his Major League debut. Not my fault. I apologize. Mariners, Rangers, Felix Hernandez, Andrew Kashner. We got Blue Jays and Twins, Brett Anderson, Jose Barrios. Interesting times in baseball right now. I know all reminds are on football. Astros, Angels, Brad Peacock, Ricky Nolasco closes out the night. And that is a look at those that shall reside on the bump.
We're gonna stay together. For me, there's nothing better.
What's your problem?
Ricky Nolasco.
Still in the league.
Still in the league. And that was before rosters expanded.
Took his 13th loss of the season last start, and he managed all of 3 innings. About what you suspect you're going to get old Ricky Nolasco these days.
They'll put him on the mound every 5th day.
It's
I don't know if
amazing.
he takes the mound. I think they put him out there on the mound.
Go get him, Ricky! Well, I tell you, by looking around baseball on the regular, there are names of guys that I think, like you do with Nolasco, he's still in the league. There must just be a dearth of quality starting pitching across this league of ours.
Why Randy Wolf pitched until he was 65 years old.
I wish I could announce Randy Wolf is getting a start tonight, Tom. That's amazing. He's called him up. Did you know he was in the Padres organization? No, Jeff, I had no idea. Yeah,
Randy Wolf against Mike Pelfrey. There you go.
Well, anyhow, football tonight. Enjoy it. Tomorrow, Libations Friday edition, where actually And as you heard with the Redemption Thursday wagers, I'm very intrigued by some of the games who aren't, well, they're not between teams that are all that sexy. The sexiest matchup for us, and we've talked about it a lot, and it's a fun game, is Clemson and Louisville. You're rooting for Louisville, aren't you? I never asked you that today. That's a strange one. I think you kind of have to root for Louisville here.
That's a strong word.
Root is a strong word, but I think you got to root for Louisville. We're going to get Louisville here.
Yeah, yes. Yes,
yes,
because, as I said, their secondary sucks. So I'd rather
yes.
Blackman could throw against a crappy secondary.
That's right. So let's go ahead and knock off Clemson so that makes the game when we beat Louisville and head to Clemson a few weeks later.
That does put us back on the map because Louisville will be a top 10 team.
That's right. Yeah, you see me working here.
I do see.
And then you go on the road against Clemson, who has a blemish on the record in the division.
Right. And maybe if they lost the second one,
that's right.
Yeah.
Here we go, Cardinals. Here we go. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Good work out of you. Thank you, Matthew. To those that called in or listened, truly do appreciate it. You guys, have a great night.